afraid of his pitching future and his rotation. Cole Hamels will go to work this afternoon against the San Francisco Giants, and he'll take on a guy, all he did this year was throw the 22nd perfect game in Major League Baseball history. It's Matt Cain and Cole Hamels this afternoon as they expect the 250th consecutive sellout here at Citizens Bank Park. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Mitch Williams. Pull up a chair, pull up a beach towel, pull up a bleacher seat. We got a heck of a matchup today between Matt Cain and Cole Hamels.
Well, there's no question, Tom. If you were going to sit back and pick two guys that were more evenly matched in the entire game of baseball today, it would be these two guys. You look at their stat lines, they're separated by 2/3 of an inning, 1 win, 1 loss. These guys are both Cy Young contenders.
Both guys who were selected in the first round in the 2002 Major League Baseball draft. One guy started the All-Star game and got the victory. That's Matt Cain. The other one, Cole Hamels, well, he pitched a scoreless inning in the All-Star game. Both are two of the top pitchers in the National League. We'll be back with the lineups and first pitch from Philadelphia right after this. Like Philadelphia in the summertime. Temperatures right now 79 degrees. Supposed to be overcast this afternoon. It shouldn't bother Matt Cain or Cole Hamels. Cain just finished up his warm-up tosses, so he's heading into the dugout with Dave Righetti, his pitching coach, and Eli Whiteside, the backup catcher. Cole Hamels, meanwhile, well, he's ready to go. He's been sitting in the dugout. He's all tuned up. And obviously he's had a burden on his shoulders about the potential for free agency at the end of this year. And these two guys, they've matched up a handful of times before. Pretty good numbers, too.
Well, they're great numbers. And when you look at those numbers, Tommy, you look at the ERA of Matt Cain, this is a guy that knows how to pitch to the Philadelphia Philly lineup. And that's what I look for today. I look for him to go out there, do what he's always done. And Hamels, in a free agent year, is pitching about as well as a guy can pitch.
No question about that. Here's today's starting lineup for the San Francisco Giants, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Nate Shearholtz gets the start in right field. He'll lead it off. Then Terrio and Melky Cabrera. What a story he's been this year for the Giants. Buster Posey swinging like he did 2 years ago. He's the cleanup hitter. Pablo Sandoval will hit fifth over at third base. Angel Pagan back in the lineup in center. He'll hit sixth. And the bottom third of Arias, Belt, and of course Matt Cain. And they'll face Philly left-hander Cole Hamels. Hamels this year, well, as Mitch said, pitching for a contract, and it doesn't seem to faze him even a little bit.
No, when you look at those numbers, Tommy, he is the ace of this staff. When this game, you look at this ball game, neither one of these guys are their aces, but they really are the ace. Cole Hamels, scouting report on him: fastball 92 to 96, cutter, curveball, changeup. Best left-handed changeup in all of Major League Baseball.
I think it's been that way since he first started pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies.
I agree totally with that.
Take a look at the defense for the Philadelphia Phillies for this afternoon. Juan Pierre's been pretty good for them. He's in left field. Then Victorino and Hunter Pence. Both those guys have very strong arms. Fontenot starts for Polanco at third, and it's good to see Utley and Howard on the right side. And the opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Well, it looks like we're ready to go. Nate Shearholtz will lead it off for the Giants. Shearholtz this year hitting .250 with 3 home runs and 12 runs batted in. He's kind of lost his job out in the outfield to Gregor Blanco.
And it kind of shocks me that he's leading off, starting this game against Cole being a left-handed hitter and Cole being a left-handed pitcher. The one thing about Cole, he is not afraid to throw his changeup to any hitter, right-handed or left-handed. It's kind of an unwritten rule that if you're a left-handed pitcher, you don't throw changeups to left-handed hitters. But as you see right there, at 82 miles an hour, Cole is not afraid to throw it.
One thing about Hamels is that he can place that changeup in different spots. It's almost like a pitcher spotting his four-seam fastball.
That is what separates him, Johan Santana, from all the other guys that throw that circle change. They can locate it. They don't just throw it in the middle and hope it reacts and sinks. They can locate it.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Shearholtz. Just underway. It's Shearholtz, Terrio, and Melky Cabrera for the Giants. Now the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. First strikeout of the day.
We're going to look at the, and as I said, he is not afraid to throw his changeup left-hander on left-hander. Look at the arm speed. That is what the hitter is swinging at. His arm speed is identical to his fastball, and it takes an incredible amount of trust to throw that pitch with that arm speed and know the velocity is going to come off it.
Well, with 1 away, here's Ryan Terrio. He had a big night last night. He had 4 hits. In fact, he has 10 hits in his last 2 series against the Phillies, which includes last year's postseason with the St. Louis Cardinals.
He played a big role for the Cardinals last year in postseason.
Up and in, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And that's one thing I've noticed about Cole over the last couple of years. He has started pitching in more to right-handers. He's added that cutter, and I think with each passing year and each passing start, that cutter becomes a better and better pitch for him.
17th pick overall in the first round at 0-2. That ball's hit towards shortstop on 1 hop for Rollins. And there are 2 outs here in the first.
If you're a Phillies fan, you have really got to like the fact that you're looking out there. Obviously, you'd like to see Polanco playing third base, but this is their infield. Howard, Utley, Rollins. This is what they've been hoping for and waiting for. They've started off the entire first half of the season basically without the whole right side of their infield and the middle of their order. You can't win if you don't have your big bats in that batting order.
Just adds to the balance of a team from top to bottom.
Yeah, people don't understand. You take 2 big bats out of a batting order, it changes how the opposing pitcher attacks that batting order.
Well, here's Melky Cabrera. He is the 2nd leading hitter in Major League Baseball at .354. He's among the leaders in a number of different offensive categories. What a year he's had. And he bunts toward third. Fontenot tested, and he bobbles. That'll be a base hit for Melky Cabrera.
And that's just smart baseball right there. This is a guy that when you look back when he was a New York Yankee, looked like just an extra guy. And you look at this play right here. Look at that bunt. There's no way that ball's going foul.
Fontenot has to field it because it's bunted too hard for it to trickle foul. Fontenot got around it good, just couldn't get a good grip on it.
Well, that's now 130 hits on the year for Melky Cabrera. So he's aboard. Here's Buster Posey. Posey missed most of last year, but he's really turned it on offensively this year. And he's out in front of a changeup, but it's no balls and 1 strike.
It'll be interesting to me here to see if Bruce Bochy, the manager, will put Cabrera in motion. If that's the case, if I'm Hamels, I'm going to try and stay in on Posey.
They try to go outside, but he missed his spot a little bit. 1 ball and 1 strike the count.
And that was a cutter right there.
Bruce Bochy was asked yesterday about Buster Posey catching as often as he has been. He played first base last night. And he said he was a little nicked up after the day game in Atlanta the other day. And it was mid-90s, and he just wanted to give him a break. So that's why he played him at first base last night. There's been a lot of talk about whether it was because Tim Lincecum was pitching, and maybe Lincecum and Posey aren't always on the same page. But Bruce Bochy said Tim Lincecum doesn't care who catches him.
No, and in that case, like I stated earlier, both of these guys today that are on the mound, they are the aces of their staff. And Lincecum is a supposed ace of the Giants staff. Halladay is the ace of the Phillies staff. Well, all you have to do is go to the stat sheet. The 2 aces for both these teams are pitching today.
Lincecum pitched well last night. 7 innings for the Giants. 2-2 the count. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball. Posey down on strike. Second strikeout of the inning for the Phils. Matt Cain off that perfect game is ready to take the mound for the San Francisco Giants. We'll be back with the bottom of the first after this. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Rollins, Victorino, and Utley. Those are the top 3 that they would like to have every single day. Then Howard's the cleanup hitter. Carlos Ruiz is the number 5 batter for the Phils. Then Hunter Pence, the bottom third of Pierre, Fontenot, and Hamels. And they will face right-hander Matt Cain, who simply has been outstanding for the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these numbers, as I said, they're practically mirror images of each other. He's got 1 fewer win, 1 fewer loss. The scouting report on Matt Cain, fastball in the low 90, commands all his pitchers, and his cutter is probably his best pitch. Again, here we go. Fastball in the low 90, commands all his pitches, and his cutter may be his best pitch.
No, he's ahead. No balls and 1 strike to Jimmy Rollins, and Rollins hits one foul, so it's 0-2. Rollins was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game for the Phillies. A game which the Giants won 7-2.
The one thing fans at home will notice about these 2 guys that are pitching today, they know how to put hitters away when they get ahead of them. You see there, Kane goes way up and out of the zone. You don't get outs with strikes. You get outs with balls, and both of these guys are understanding of that. Hamels had 2 strikeouts in the first inning with balls. Well, there's a strike that Jimmy wasn't looking for.
Well, what a way. Let's take a look at the Giants' defense behind Matt Cain. A little different than last night. Cabrera's in left. Pagan, well, he's in center field today, then Scherholtz. And Brandon Belt is a very good first baseman for the Giants. Terrio and Arias are the double play combination. Sandoval's at third. Of course, Buster Posey is back behind the plate.
And as I sit here and look at this defensive alignment right here, if I'm Shane Victorino, Sandoval's way up. If Victorino could take a bunt with him right in that direction, as deep as the second baseman was playing, that would have been an easy base hit.
No, instead, one pitch, a 4-3 on the putout, 2 outs here in the first. Let's check in with Ken Rosenthal. And Kenny, it's interesting to watch Matt Cain and the evolution of his ability on the mounds.
That's right, Tom. Matt Cain's #1 goal this season, he told me, was to reduce his walks. And obviously, guys, when you throw a perfect game, you're on your way to success there. Cain is averaging fewer than 2 walks per 9 innings. That's the lowest rate of his career, 7th best in the National League this season. At the same time, guys, he has the highest strikeout rate of his career. You put it all together and you understand why he's having a career year.
Well, Mitch, you talked about his mechanics, how clean they are, and by learning the cutter as he's come up to the major leagues and perfecting it has really helped him.
You're good.
Absolutely. The simplicity of his delivery, and I'm a huge believer in take as much movement out of your delivery as you can so you can repeat that delivery. And you look at Matt Cain's delivery, his hands start low, he brings them to his chest, delivers a baseball. It's pretty simple. As we look at it here, he comes set at his belt, brings his hands up to his letters, separates, goes to the plate. There's not a whole lot to that for him to get out of whack.
0-2 the count to Utley, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Utley's got good numbers against Cain for his career. He's 7 for 20 against him with 3 home runs. 2 of those home runs came in his in the first game the Phillies faced Matt Cain.
Well, I would look for Cain here to try and bounce something, because Utley stands on the plate and every hitter will tell the pitcher exactly what his weakness is. Utley stands on the plate because he doesn't like the ball away. That means you can't throw it hard enough for him in.
There's that ball in the dirt, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Chase. Utley, since he's come back, is hitting .228 with 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. How about in his first plate appearance, coming off the disabled list, he homered?
Well, Chase is just a baseball player, and I know if you're a Philly fan, it was huge to see him back out on that field. And if you're one of the Phillies players.
That ball's hit deep to right field. No doubt about it. Chase Utley goes into the second deck. It's 1-0 Phillies here in the bottom of the first. Well, he guessed down, and he got down because he just golfed that ball right out of the ballpark.
I'm going to look at this replay. I bet they're setting up a way to throw. Well, he's kind of, he missed in with that. And that's one place you can't miss in. Like I said, you can't throw it hard enough for Utley inside. His hands are so quick. He stays inside the ball so well.
That was a long one, too.
No, he got every bit of that.
So 3 homers now for Utley. He's given the Phillies a 1-0 lead. Here's Howard. He homered last night. And Howard takes outside.
And again, this is another guy the Phillies have missed tremendously. When you start taking 130 and 40 homers out of the lineup, it's a trickle-down effect on how that pitcher approaches the entire lineup.
Well, it took just 13 pitches to get through the first inning, but Chase Utley has given the Phillies an early lead. It's his 3rd home run of the season. 1-0 Phillies as we go to the second. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. By the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB. And by Michelin, a better way forward. A warm summer afternoon here in Philadelphia. Center City is alive. Back into Citizens Bank Park, where Pablo Sandoval will lead it off, and he waves at the first pitch from Cole Hamels.
And Hamels elevated right away. I think Sandoval was going up there looking for dead red first pitch, and regardless of its location, he was going after it.
Outside, 1 strike. Sandoval 303 with 8 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Good numbers against Hamels during his career.
Well, and this lineup for San Francisco, Tommy, they've got to make him elevate that changeup or he's going to wear him out.
Rollins all in one motion after the backhand, one away, and with 1 out, Angel Pagan will be the batter. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a DirecTV game break. Matty?
Hey, Tom, a doubleheader between the Braves and Nationals. Chipper Jones' final lap around the league has been a good one so far. They might want to talk him into sticking around a little bit longer. Pinch hit home run, part of a 4-0 Braves win in the opener. A reminder, if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back out to Tom and Mitch.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. What a game they had last night between the Braves and the Washington Nationals. The Nationals lead is down to 1.5 over Atlanta.
I think this division is going to get interesting. I know a lot of people have counted the Phillies out at 13 games back, but the teams that are on top of them are teams that have yet to figure out how to win over the course of 162 games.
Shane Victorino will take care of Angel Pagan. One of the big topics around Philadelphia is what are the Phillies going to do with Cole Hamels? Ken Rosenthal, what do you think?
Tom, they're trying to sign him, and if I had to guess, I would say that they're going to sign him. But either way, Cole is going to get his money. 6-year deal that he's discussing with the Phillies probably will end up in the $130 to $140 million range if he takes it, or he can go free agent. Now, what's interesting here about Hamels on the field is that he told me that while his numbers are about what they usually are, he hasn't felt great this year. He said, I haven't had a game where I've actually felt in sync. Last year I felt I was in sync a lot. I just had that good feeling where you just know where stuff is going, how to work things in. I haven't had that type of game yet, that comfort. Well, we all should be so pitching poorly.
Amen for that.
No kidding. I felt out of sync my entire life, but didn't have numbers like that.
Well, here are his numbers this year compared to the rest of the Phillies starters. Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Van Swarley, all 3 have been on the disabled list at one point this year. But Hamels has been healthy, and gosh, I've seen all of his starts this year, Mitch, and I think he's been in tune almost every starts.
Well, that cutter, he had to add that pitch a couple of years ago because his curveball was just a get-me-over type curveball. As you see, he's very athletic, as you see.
Well, Joaquin Arias, give him credit. He got out of the box quickly once that ball went off the glove of Cole Hamels. And he'll get an infield single out of it.
And you see Arias is out on his front foot. Hamels makes a very good effort at this, and there's just no way he can get to it quick enough. Arias, bang, bang play at first base. But that's where that changeup is going to keep these Giants hitters on their front foot. And as a pitcher, all you want to do, your goal is to control the hitter's bat speed. And that's what Cole does a really good job of.
That's an awfully close play over at first, closer than I thought, looking at it naked eye. First base umpire is Manny Gonzalez, one of the young umpires in Major League Baseball. The batter is Brandon Belt, and he takes a wave and a miss at the first pitch. It's no balls and 1 strike.
And that's the pitch right there, the cutter, that I think has gotten left-handed hitters, especially off Cole's fastball. It's not that roll them over curveball that hitters can recognize and stay back on.
Soft ground ball to short. Jimmy Rollins will just take it to the bag, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. The Phils have a 1-0 lead. Cole Hamels pitching well as we go to the bottom of the 2nd. Game is presented by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thank you for all you do. We hope you're enjoying this afternoon's telecast.
Absolutely.
Hope you have a great weekend, too, wherever you are. As we go to the bottom of the second, and one of the stories of the year in the National League, Carlos Ruiz will dig in. .349 hitter with 14 homers and 51 runs batted in.
It's really, honestly, Tom, scary to think how far down this Phillies team would be if Ruiz hadn't gotten off to the start he's gotten off to.
And he lines a single to right field. His numbers in the first 2 innings of games are ridiculous. The leadoff single. We are seeing 2 of the best arms in baseball this afternoon. And we also, during the course of the year, get a chance to see a lot of the good ones in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you start looking at these pictures, and you see Matt Cain right there and Cole Hamels finishing it up. You get the opportunity as a fan to see guys like this match up. We might not be here 2.5 hours.
By the way, David Price narrowly missed being given a card and being up there. His ERA since 2010 is 3.01, but he's still a very good pitcher.
Oh, well, 3.01, you can't be that good.
Hunter Pence is the batter. Well, this year, the comparisons, as Mitch said before, are eerily similar. From the time that they were drafted to their age to just their numbers overall.
Well, Matt Cain has been one of those guys over the last few years that has gotten 0 run support. And never complained about it. As we watch him get a ground ball double play right there, Taylor made.
So 2 outs. Mitch, let's take a look at today's 4 keys to the game.
I think it's really simple. I really do, Tom. For the Giants, they have to make Hamels elevate his changeup. For the Phillies, get to Cain early or you ain't going to get to him. And that was the home run Utley hit in the first inning. That's a huge, huge at bat right there.
That's why the Phils are on top 1-0. Juan Pierre is the hitter. Pierre playing left field today with the right-hander on the mound. Batting 7th, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Pierre will normally play against righties. John Mayberry Jr. will play against left-handers for the Phillies in left field. Although Pierre is kind of hitting his way into the lineup almost every day as he gets that one back to the box. 1-3 on the putout. Pretty easy second inning for Matt Cain. We'll return to Philadelphia after a word from your local Fox station. Baseball presented by Budweiser. From Citizens Bank Park, another sold-out crowd. Cole Hamels against Matt Cain. Cain will lead it off for the Giants here at the top of the third. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. And joining us from the Phillies dugout is Phillies left-hander Cliff Lee. Nice enough to join us for this top of the third. Cliff, thanks for joining us, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What do you think so far from your fellow left-hander? He's looking pretty good.
He's just continuing to go out there and pound the strike zone. He's a pretty good pitcher, one of the best in the game, and it looks like it's going to be a pitcher's duel.
It looks like it's going to be a quick pitcher's duel, Cliff. This is Mitch.
Uh-oh.
No way.
Matt Cain deep to left, and that one is gone.
Wow.
First home run of the year for Cain. Second home run of the game. One for Utley, one for Matt Cain. And it's 1-1 here in the top of the third. Well, Cliff, you've taken other pitchers deep in your career.
Yeah.
It's not a great feeling when you give up that kind of home run to the opposing pitcher.
Yeah, you don't really expect it against the pitcher, but it happens.
And we're looking at the replay right here, Cliff. This is just a fastball in the middle of the plate, and I think sometimes pitchers forget. I know I hated anything that was off speed. I'm pretty sure you probably do too.
Right, totally.
Well, Shearholtz fouls it back, so it's no balls and one strike. What is that feeling like, Cliff? I mean, as a pitcher to hit a home run. I mean, you hit a couple last year, and I know they were pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, it definitely feels good, no doubt about it. You surprise everyone. Nobody's really expecting it, just like Cain pretty much did right there. I don't think anybody in the ballpark was expecting that, especially against Cole.
Least of all Cain.
Right.
It's that swing hard in case you hit it theory, Cliff.
Yeah, he got that one.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Nate Shearholtz, who struck out his first time up. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, you guys have a competition going between the pitchers as far as hitting goes. I mean, it's been a pretty entertaining one the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, Cole exposed the system last year. We had a 5. If you see 5 pitches, you get a point, and every time he got 2-0, he was taken until he got to 2 strikes to make sure he got that point. But he won. He won last year.
So he won, but the system's been tinkered with a little bit.
Yeah, we changed it. You got to see 8 pitches now to get that same point. But Cole's still winning it. He's been swinging the bat pretty good this year.
Well, I noticed he's hitting 260 something, so he's doing something pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a good approach at the plate. He knows what he's doing with the bat for sure. He's an athlete.
Well, I grew up, Cliff, and obviously you didn't just pitch coming up. You swung the bat.
Right. And
you have to love swinging the bat to be over in this league, don't you?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when you think baseball, that's what you think about. You think about, hitting. It's the most challenging thing in all the sports, and it's the hardest thing to do in all the sports is to square up a round ball with a round bat. And it's a definite challenge, and I enjoy every bit of it.
Well, with 1 away, it'll bring Ryan Theriot to the plate. Cliff, what has this year been like for you? I mean, you pitched so well. In fact, the other day was one of the better outings that we've seen this year against the Dodgers, and you got a no decision. What has it been like for you this year?
It's just been a strange year. It's for whatever reason I haven't been able to pick up any wins. I got 1 win, but it's just I don't know. It's really kind of hard to explain. But for me, I don't allow it to frustrate me. I can't control whether I get wins or losses. All I can control is my routine and my preparation, and how I go about each outing. And that's where my focus is going to stay.
Pretty good play by Juan Pierre out in left field. Now, earlier this year, you were locked in to a pitcher's duel with Cain out in San Francisco, where you went 10 innings in that ball game. Both you guys pitched exceptionally well. What was that game like?
It was just one of those games where everything was working. I was locating, working ahead, throwing strikes, and they were hitting it to our defense. And it was quick innings and enabled me to get into the 10th inning. I really felt like I could have kept going. I think I only threw like 101 or 102 pitches in 10. So, we do that all the time through 8, and they let us go out there for the 9th. But it's not very often they let you go out for the 11th inning.
Well, Melky Cabrera is the hitter. The count is 1 ball and no strikes as Hamels delivers inside and low. Cliff, we appreciate it, bud. We'll hopefully get a chance to catch up with you again down the road.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Buddy, good luck the rest of the year. Hope everything flips around for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Y'all take it easy.
All right, Cliff Lee, you see the line there from his game against the San Francisco Giants. That was one of the more remarkable games of the year for the Phillies, Mitch. And it was early on this season. Phillies were playing really good baseball. He was exceptional. Matt Cain was exceptional. And the Giants won at 1-0.
I can jump on his side as far as the argument goes. He could have gone back out there for the 11th.
Turned out that he went on the disabled list after that because he had strained his oblique during that ball game, late in that ball game. But he still was pitching very well, and so was Kane that afternoon.
Well, and that's the problem with today's players. They have obliques. Back when I played, you have to have stomach muscles to pull them, kids.
Here's Buster Posey with 2 away. It's a 1-1 game. A home run by Chase Utley and a home run in this inning by Matt Cain. And home run by Cain, by the way, his 6th career home run. Buster Posey struck out his first time up.
This is where Cole has got to look at Posey and where can he hurt me the least. And I think that right there, the outer third of the plate, is where he can limit the damage Posey can do to him. He's got him 0-1 now. Now he can just incorporate either backdoor cutters or change-ups down and away, limit the damage he can do.
They go out there again. No balls and 2 strikes. That is the 10th swing and a miss by the Giants so far. That's a pretty good number at this point for Cole Hamels.
Well, Cole's a swing and miss guy because of that changeup. If I'm him right now, I'm going to try and change Posey's eyes and elevate a fastball in the middle of the plate up, just to change his eyes. And a lot of times, if it's in the middle and it's elevated, hitters will go at it. They can recognize in, they can recognize away, but if it's middle, they have to honor that and go after it.
Mr. Posey, like a lot of the Giants, really likes to hit against left-handers. With a 376 clip, Cabrera goes. That one's hit in the air to left. Pierre going back to the wall, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Buster Posey. It's the 2nd home run of the inning for the Giants, and they take a 3-1 lead.
And that's exactly why I think you have to change a hitter's eyes. The first 2 pitches were down, and if you stay down, 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 a hitter's going to get on it. You look at the first pitch, change up away, second pitch, change up away, down, third pitch, cutter, down, and it obviously wasn't where he wanted it, but that's what can happen if you don't change the hitter's eyes and make them look up and down.
Oh, home run number 12 for Posey. Boy, the Giants really missed him last year. Pablo Sandoval's the hitter. He takes inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Buster Posey works as hard as anybody at his craft, and you wondered how he would respond after the injury last year.
I didn't have any doubt he'd come back. If you can hit, you can hit. As long as, and there's been so many players that have gone through that injury and come back from it. I didn't think it was going to be any different. I thought he'd be the hitter that he was when he got hurt.
2-1 the count to Pablo Sandoval, grounded out to shortstop his only time up. So Matt Cain hits a solo home run earlier in the inning, and then his battery mate Buster Posey hits a 2-run home run to give the Giants a 3-1 lead.
And this is Sandoval's already shown he'll go after balls up.
Ground ball to third, easy play for Mike Fontenot. So the Giants get 3, a 2-run shot and a solo shot. So Matt Cain will have a lead when he goes back to work at the bottom of the third. It's 3-1 San Francisco. Carver on behalf of all of us here in Philadelphia. And I know, Mitch, you know Timmy very well. I've gotten a chance to work with him a number of times. It's a great honor to receive the Ford C. Frick Award. Only the second analyst to receive that award.
Well, you look back, and once you're done playing, and we really aren't smart enough as ball players to do anything. When you can't do it, you talk about it. and Timmy has done it for a long time and done it really well.
Well, you see 22 World Series and 21 All-Star Game broadcasts, both the most all-time. Honored today in Cooperstown as Mike Fontenot lifts it in the air, shallow right field. Ryan Theriot out there, and he makes the catch. He robs his good friend for the first out here in the third. That's a heck of a play by Ryan Theriot.
That's a great play, and you got to get a good jump if you're a second baseman on this ball, because number one, you're busting it towards an outfielder that's busting it towards you, so you're worried about getting lit up. And as you can see how close it was to being a collision, I've seen some nasty collisions on balls like this.
Last minute he reached out to pull it out of the air. Ryan Theriot and Mike Fontenot, teammates with the Cubs, but also teammates before that with the LSU Tigers. In fact, they were the double play combination for the LSU Tigers. Cole Hamels sends one in the air deep to right field. That one is gone.
Payback.
Matt Cain hits one at the top of the third, and Cole Hamels answers with one of his own here in the bottom of the third. Home run derby.
I'll tell you what, we said they're evenly matched when this game started, but we didn't expect this. And again, this is a pitcher thinking a pitcher can't just put the bat on a fastball. If you've got a good swing, and you look at that, that is a tremendous swing by Cole Hamels.
That is the first career home run for Cole Hamels. As good as a hitter as he is, it's the first time he's gone yard.
And I know what that feels like. I was a closer. I only got 16 at bats, but my first career hit was a homer. And trust me, as a pitcher, you love that feeling, jogging around them bases.
Well, it's a 3-2 ball game. Should be Rollins now the hitter, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes to Rollins, who struck out looking his first time up. Well, it is getting warmer here this afternoon, so the ball is carrying. Rollins nubs one toward third. Sandoval waits for it, and he throws him out. So 2 outs.
And that's interesting there that Sandoval's still playing up in a 2-0 count. Had he been playing regular depth, that'd have been a base hit.
Right, because Rollins doesn't bunt that often, but he still was up on the grass. You're right.
Yeah, you see he's right up there at the cut of the grass. If he's playing back, which normally I think a third baseman would, because Jimmy doesn't bunt that much to begin with, you'd think he'd be playing back. And if he's playing back, that's a base hit. But that's what a pitcher should do in a 2-0 count. He threw him a changeup.
Well, Victorino takes outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Victorino grounded out to second his first time up. He's 1 hit away for 1,000 for his career. He would become the first Hawaiian-born baseball player to reach 1,000 hits in his career.
And Shane's in a contract year. He's been a tremendous player here in Philadelphia. But you got to kind of wonder, when you look at his numbers, has he let that affect what he's doing on the field?
What do you think?
Yes, I do. I think he's trying to do more than he's capable of doing, rather than just going out there and being the guy he's always been.
2-1 the count to Victorino, and he pops it up. Posey off with the mask, has room. The other side is retired, but the Phillies do score a run. They do so on the first career home run for Cole Hamels. So Cain hits a home run at the top of the third. Hamels hits one here in the bottom of the third. There's Cain's, and then Hamels decides I can do it as well. 3-2 Giants as we go to the fourth. DirecTV Now NFL Sunday Ticket is included at no extra charge when you switch. And by Jeep. Well, back at Citizens Bank Park, we head to the top of the fourth. Angel Pagan will lead it off, and he takes a pitch at the knees, according to Mike Everett, the home plate umpire. Pagan fly to center his first time up, a guy the Giants got in the offseason from the New York Mets. And a line drive toward left center field. That's base hit. It's going to split the gap and go toward the wall. Victorino does a nice job tracking it down. And Pagan will pull into second with a leadoff double.
And we look at the location of this pitch, and I think this is where you got to start to be careful. He wants it in, and that ball's dead down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, Victorino does a good job to get to this one and not allow it to go to the wall.
Yeah, because that has a chance of being a triple. If it does get to the wall, Pagan can run.
Now you can see the grass out in center field here at Citizens Bank Park. Like a lot of ballparks around baseball, they've had some concerts during the course of the summer. The Roger Waters concert was here last weekend, and they had to replace 18,000 square feet of sod. And Mike Buchholder, who's the head groundskeeper here in Philadelphia, his crew did some amazing work to get this field back into the shape that it is for this series against the Giants.
Well, being a former player and seeing what concerts do to fields, I think the field looks great.
It's Bermuda grass this year. They made the switch from last year to this year because they felt like it was easier to handle the humidity here in the Northeast. It's the first of 3 concerts that will take place here at Citizens Bank Park. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band will be here in early September for their first ever visit to this venue. Well, they've been across the street a lot where they used to have the Spectrum.
Right.
They used to have JFK Stadium, and they also have the Wells Fargo Center. Pagan goes to third. It's a fly ball to center. Victorino's there. Yeah, there's one out. And Pagan gets back to second.
And this is the thing you have to be leery of as a pitcher. And I can speak to this only because I've been through it. Hitting a home run, you have this kind of euphoric feeling, and you might have a tendency to forget what your objective is on that round spot out there in the middle of the field. And Cole has got to get back into his groove. Location-wise, he hasn't hit his location so far this inning. He's got away with the last one. Does a good job there of holding Pagan at second base.
Well, the other part of it, too, is you have the bottom of the order up. You have 8 and then 9. Now, I know number 9, Kane, hit a home run his last time up, but you can see yourself through this without any problems.
Right, and I can promise you Cole is not going to just be pumping fastballs to Kane this next at bat. He's going to pitch him like a hitter.
Well, he's keeping an eye on Angel Pagan, who already tried to steal third. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes to Belt. He grounded into a fielder's choice to finish up the second. Now Carlos Ruiz is going to head out to talk to Hamels. Jimmy Rollins is going to come in as well. What are they talking about here, Mitch, you think?
I think Chooch has just gone out there to say, look, hold him close. Don't worry about making moves to second base, and concentrate on what you're trying to get done to the hitter. Honestly, Pagan going in that situation is a bad baseball play. He's at second base with nobody out, and Ruiz throws as good as anybody in the National League. If he gets thrown out in that situation, it's a bad play, and I promise you Bochy would not have been happy.
Well, folks forget about Carlos Ruiz's defense because he's had such a good offensive year. He's thrown out 19 runners trying to steal this year, which is the most in the National League.
Well, for me, he's always been, there he goes again.
Fly ball center field. Victorino is under it. Pagan has to get back to second. The throw by Victorino not in time. There are 2 outs here in the fourth. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a DirecTV game break. Matty?
Tommy, another NL East hosting NL West matchup. Dodgers and Mets. R.A. Dickey's first relief appearance in over a year results in Juan Uribe's first home run in over 2 months. Dodgers win. They've made it 2 in a row in Flushing. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to Tom and Mitch.
Well, the San Francisco Giants have a 2-game lead over the Dodgers. in the National League West, depending this outcome, as Kane takes a healthy cut and a miss at the first pitch. You know, Terry Collins has said that he's toying with the idea, depending on how his rotation is, to maybe throwing R.A. Dickey every fourth day instead of giving him the normal rest. And I'm not saying that this is the beginning of that, but probably got to a point where he needed to get some outs and felt like the knuckleball was the best way to do it.
It's a different dynamic coming out of the bullpen than it is starting. I'm looking right here for a changeup buried in the dirt. He's thrown 2 fastballs by him in this at bat that were located well. Now let him look at that arm speed and have that changeup come up there.
There you
like
go.
that.
Squirts away from Ruiz. The side is retired as Kane is down swinging. So Hamels allows the leadoff double, leaves one in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Cole Hamels will look for a little offense from his team. Chase Utley is due to lead things off for the Phils. He's already gone yard. We'll see what he does at his second at bats. Philadelphia 3-2 San Francisco. The Giants scored 3 in their half of the 3rd on homers. Chase Utley, he homered earlier against Matt Cain, and he takes a whack at the first pitch. It's a pretty good swing his last time up, Mitch.
Yeah, when you look at it, he made a mistake inner 3rd. That's the one spot you cannot make the mistake against Chase Utley because that's the pitch he's looking for. I look for Cain to stay away from him. Utley's not going to hit a whole lot of opposite field home runs.
0-1 the count. And he lines one down the right field line. Fair, it's extra bases. It is a foul ball.
And Cain got away with a mistake there. As you saw, Posey set up outside, outer 3rd, and this ball cuts right back over the heart of the plate. He's lucky that ball ended up foul.
Utley has 4 home runs against Cain in 21 career at bats. As a pitcher, do you remember that when that comes up? Is that a silly question?
Yes. That's a silly question. Trust me. I remember everybody that took me deep.
0-2 the count to Utley. They plan to pull on the infield. Takes outside.
Yeah, and I would think, like I said, he's gonna, if he makes anything in here, it'll be a mistake. He is not going to try and go back in there unless it's up.
Tapper foul toward the on-deck circle. Well, there's no doubt that Matt Cain, during the course of this season, has had games where he's been flat out dominant. No more than that perfect game when he struck out 14 against the Houston Astros.
Well, he's a guy like call a tow truck.
A hit by pitch. Utley's known for that. He's aboard. Ryan Howard is coming up. All right, Ken Rosenthal, there are times where you're asked questions during the course of a game. I know you were asked a question earlier. Give us a rundown of what you were asked.
Well, Tom, Cliff Lee is a pitcher who knows something about hitting home runs. So after Cole Hamels hit his, Lee walked to the end of the dugout and said, hey, when was the last time two starting pitchers hit home runs off each other in the same game? Well, we have the answer. May 18th, 2002, Kevin Millwood of the Braves, Denny Stark of the Rockies. Now, I'm not sure this game should count, though, Mitch. It was Coors Field in the pre-Humidor era.
It should count. Anytime a pitcher hits a home, I don't care if it's in a Little League field, it counts.
Every time a pitcher hits a home run, you mean they do it for every other pitcher around?
That's right.
Ken Rosenthal, the answer man. We appreciate that, Kenny.
Kenny's got answers to things we ain't even thought of.
Utley leads off first for Howard. And Howard takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the last time the two starting pitchers homered against each other in the same inning was back on May 14th, 1990.
And I'll tell you what, Fernando might have been a little chubby, but Fernando could hit.
Fernando is one of the better athletes of his time. I just saw him last week in Los Angeles. He looks great, and he is still, well, next to Tommy Lasorda, the fan favorite in L.A.
Oh, he was like a rock star in L.A. In a town full of rock stars and movie stars, Fernando was right there with him. 2
balls, no strikes, the count to Howard. Well, Ryan got a pitch there. And he just swung under it. It's 2-1.
And that's the point I was making earlier, Tommy, about throwing the fastball in the middle of the plate up. If that ball's down, Ryan kills it. But it's just up enough that he's going to go after it, but he can't get to it because of the location of it.
The toss over, and Utley's back before the tag.
And this is where this Phillies team has suffered so far this year. Utley being on first base with Howard in the box. They haven't seen this all year up to this point, up until the last 2 weeks. So this is nice. I mean, this is where the damage needs to get done.
Well, you have a Ruiz in the on-deck circle as well. Picked up his 100th hit of the season, his last time up. Now Howard ahead, 3 balls and 1 strike. What kind of pitch is he going to get here, you think?
I think he's going to get a fastball away, and Cain is going to take his chances with Chooch. He does not want to get hurt by Ryan Howard right here.
Buster Posey goes in.
He got in on him.
Pablo Sandoval is under it, and there's 1 away. Now that's just a pitcher who's having a heck of a year, challenging a really good hitter.
Well, that, and if it's a ball, if Ryan does what he should do right there, he takes that pitch and makes him come back with a 3-2 pitch, even if they call it a strike, because that's a pitcher's pitch. When a hitter gets himself into a cripple count, a 2-0, 3-1 count, he's got to be looking in one zone. And actually, you can see Ryan pump his fist. He missed it. He knows he missed it.
Carlos Ruiz, the batter. He takes an off-speed pitch for a strike, or a fastball, I should say.
Yeah, it was a fastball, ran back over the plate.
Carlos singled his first time up, his average up to 351. In the dirt, good play by Posey. And Utley stays at first.
And
I'm sorry, Mitch, go ahead.
I know Charlie Manuel is not a big small ball guy, a hit and run guy, but this, in my opinion, is a perfect opportunity to put Utley in motion, because you got a guy at the plate that's having a career year with the bat in his hand. and his first at bat hit a ball into right field. This could put pressure on the defense. That's what I like. I like pressuring defenses and making them make plays.
Well, it's 2 balls and 1 strike now to Utley. The right side is wide open.
Yeah. They've got the defense is shading Ruiz kind of up the middle. The second baseman's over towards the middle. Terrio.
Outside, 3-1. Well, second straight 3-1 count with Hunter Pence on deck.
And
again, challenged Howard. He's going to wind up challenging him.
It's a cripple count for Ruiz. He's looking in one zone and looking to do one thing. If he gets his pitch, turn it loose.
There goes Utley, and it's a foul ball, 3-2.
Real good swing by Ruiz right there. That ball was on the outer third of the plate, and had he put it in play, it would have been in the gap right center.
Carlos Ruiz made it to the All-Star game this year for the first time in his career. He became the 7th native of Panama to play in an All-Star game. It's usually 6 listed because Rod Carew was born in the Panama Canal Zone, but let's face it, he's been advertised as Panamanian, so we'll put him on that list. Utley goes, and the pitch fouled off the mask of Buster Posey.
And I think we'll continue to see Utley running here because of the fact that Ruiz is swinging the bat the way he's swinging it this year.
Saw Kane's pitch count, not too shabby, with 1 out here in the 4th. 1-run lead for the Giants. There have been 4 home runs hit so far in this game combined.
Well, as you said, Tom, the humidity, the heat, the ball flies out of this ballpark. When you start getting towards the end of July and August here, you have to pitch in this park to keep the ball in the park.
That's why the Phillies have been so successful the last few years, is because they've had such good pitching that they've been able to hold down the opposition. Kind of the same thing for the Giants out in AT&T Park.
Well, they got a little bit bigger park to work with.
Fly ball center field. Pagan back toward the track will make the catch. Utley goes back to first. Talking about balls flying out of the ballpark. Let's check in with Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break, talking about the Texas Rangers and the LA Angels.
Yeah, and it's flying out of this place, too. Ball travels a lot better in Anaheim in the afternoon. Just ask Mike Napoli, who's hit 7 home runs against the Angels now in not even 24 games since being traded by them a year and a half ago. Rangers knock Irvin Santana into an early shower. Couldn't finish 2 for the second time in the last 3 starts. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. Back to Tom and Mitch.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. You see the standings in the West. Texas on top of the LA Angels. Yu Darvish is pitching in that game today for Texas, and he has that 7-0 lead. Here it's 3-2 San Francisco with Hunter Pence up and 2 outs into the bottom of the 4th. Pence grounded into a double play his first time up, and he hits one sharply to short. And Joaquin Arias will go to the short way to get Utley. 4th inning is in the books. We move on to the 5th here in Philadelphia. Pretty good pitchers duel so far.
Come on, it's been another fall.
His team is down 3-2 as we move to the top of the 5th inning. See his career record against the San Francisco Giants. Of course, the Giants knocked the Phillies out of the postseason 2 years ago. They went on to win the World Championship. Nate Shearholtz leads it off for the Giants. Bruce Bochy, I was talking to him yesterday. They asked me, he said, "How's Charlie doing?" I said, "He's doing okay." He said, "It's been a tough year for him." And he was recounting when he was part of the All-Star staff with Charlie a couple of years ago. It was really the first time that Bochy got a chance to meet and talk to Charlie as two different baseballs go back to the mound at Cole Hamels.
That's not fun.
No. He didn't catch either one. Fortunately, they didn't catch him.
I think the umpire thought the ball, well, it did hit the dirt.
Here we go.
Normally, the catcher will just hand the ball to the umpire because it did hit the dirt. And Chooch didn't do that.
Inside, 2-1 the count to Shearholtz. Mike Winters is Mike Everett, is the crew chief. He's behind the plate tonight. Mike is in his 17th year as a major league umpire. There's a line drive to right field. That'll be an extra base hit for Shearholtz. Hunter Pence gets to it quickly, but Shearholtz on his way to second. And he's there with a stand-up double. It's the second straight inning the Giants have had a stand-up double to start it off.
And if we look at this, you look right there, that's that changeup, and that's what I'm talking about getting the changeup up in the zone. That's what happens when you leave that ball thigh high, especially to a left-handed hitter. And it was back-to-back changeups. He tried to throw one the pitch before, and it was in. Then he leaves it over the plate and up a little bit, and that's what can happen.
Well, that's 6 hits now for the Giants. Last 4 have been extra base hits. As Terrio shows bunt, it's 1-0. Sure.
And this is where Cole's just got to bear down. Chooch is going to go out there. They're going to go over their signs. They have a bunch of different. Chooch will be back there like he's giving signs from the third base coach's box. And that tells the pitcher what sign, with sign after 2, second sign, first sign. All that stuff is kind of intricate. And if you don't know at home what they're doing, don't feel lost, because I don't know what they're doing.
1 ball, no strikes, the count to Terrio. Outside 2-0.
And Terrio's job as a hitter right here, he has one job: to make sure that when his at-bat is over, Shearholtz is at least standing on third base.
Not as easy as it sounds, but now he's worked himself in a very good count. 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, he's going to be taken here. He's got one of the best hitters in the National League standing on deck, so there's no way in the world Terrio's got the green light 3-0.
Ball 4. So he walked him on 4 pitches. Runners on first and second now with nobody out, and Melky Cabrera is coming up. How about the year that Melky Cabrera is having? The Giants acquired him from the Kansas City Royals during the offseason, and it's not easy all the time to switch leagues, but look at what Cabrera has done, and look what the company he's in. From Nat Lajoie, Ed Delahanty, and Charlie Hickman, guys that switched leagues with a minimum of 350 plate appearances, a .354 batting average. And he's been special for the San Francisco Giants. And Bruce Bochy, Ken Rosenthal, I don't know if he feels like his team would be where they are without Melky Cabrera.
Well, there's no question, Tom. And I asked Javier Lopez, the Giants reliever, his favorite Melky moment of the year, and he actually said it was something that happened off the field. First game after the All-Star break at AT&T Park is when Melky posed with his fans, the milkmen and the milkmaids. He even put on one of the milkmen's hats. And what Lopez said is that Melky usually is a pretty intense guy on the field. You don't see him smiling a lot on the field. Yet in the clubhouse, he does have a good sense of humor, and it was good to see Melky's sense of humor come out with the fans that day.
Well, it's been an amazing turnaround. A lot of his success he credits to his former teammate, Alex Rodriguez. In fact, Rodriguez took him home with him to Florida to work out with him for these last 2 off seasons. That's the picture that Kenny's talking about.
That guy second from the left looks familiar.
Very familiar. Ken, were you out in San Francisco at that time when that picture was taken?
No, that's a little creativity there. Now, guys, I was never a milkman. I did sell ice cream once at Shea Stadium.
What a play. He caught it out of the air and dove to the second base bag for the double play. He deserves an ice cream for that, Ken Rosenthal.
And this play right here, this play is made in Utley's head before the pitch is ever thrown. You don't make that play unless you've made that play in your head. What am I going to do if the ball's hit on a line up the middle? He's already made that play mentally before he does it physically.
Scherholtz was in no man's land, and well, Chase Utley is as intense an individual as you will find in the game of baseball. Here's Buster Posey with a runner at first. Talked to Charlie Manuel before the ball game about leaders. He said Chase Utley leads by example, and that's just what Mitch was talking about.
Yep. You see that play right there. That's a tremendous play, and now Hamels has got himself in the same situation he was in earlier, with Posey at the plate, 2 outs and a runner on. Where can he do the least amount of damage? And in my opinion, it's on the outer half of the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Posey. 2-run home run in his last at bat. A strikeout his first time up. Hamels about to throw his 72nd pitch of the day. And the runner goes. No chance to get Ryan Theriot. He stole that one on Cole Hamels.
Yeah, and that's when you kind of get in a rhythm as a pitcher and you forget he's concentrating so much on Posey, which I'm not opposed to, but you do have to change your times. Make that runner stand over there and tense up.
Theriot started going off second, and Hamels stepped off.
And again, had he tried to steal third right there with 2 outs and Posey in the box, stupid baseball play. He can score just as easily on a base hit from second as he can from third.
Line drive, base hit to left field. Pierre will take it on a hop. Rounding third and heading home is Theriot. He'll score, and it's the 3rd RBI of the day for Buster Posey. And the lead is now back to 2. It's 4-2 San Francisco.
I'm confused about the book on how they're going at it. Although they're trying to go away. So the idea was there, and as a pitcher, trust me, you make mistakes. And that would fall under the category of a mistake.
The Giants, like a lot of teams, will run on Juan Pierre out left field. So Theriot was able to score easily. Here's Pablo Sandoval. He's grounded out twice today. Out front, and he pops it up. Playable for Ruiz. And without even throwing away the mask, he makes the catch. The side is retired. The Giants score a run on another RBI by that guy, Buster Posey. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Chevrolet. Chevrolet has that feeling back. Feel it too with Chevy Confidence. Center City, Philadelphia. There's William Penn. One time was the tallest building in downtown Philadelphia. Not anymore. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Giants on top 4-2. And Juan Pierre will lead it off against Matt Cain. And Pierre takes a hook for a strike. It's 0-1. Pierre tapped back to the pitcher his first time up.
Sandoval is way in at third base, so there is no bunting that way. And you see Pierre squares right there to see what kind of read Terrio at second base is going to get. So I think the bunt is not an option.
Well, he's first at bunt hits in the National League. Shows bunt again, takes a strike. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of infielders be afraid, like Terrio, to play in that far. Now he goes back a little bit more.
Now, if you're a really good bunter, you take advantage of this and still do it.
Ground ball, right side. Ryan Terrio takes care of Pierre, 1 away. This MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Jimmy Rollins, the Phillies shortstop, is a big proponent in the Boys and Girls Club because he grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. What we're seeing today, some pretty good pitching, obviously.
Absolutely. And it's been kind of what we expected. I didn't expect both of them to homer in this game, but I did expect them to both go out there and execute pitches. And I think right now, the guy that's winning is Cain. He's made the fewest mistakes.
Like Fontenot takes inside. Now, you've seen both of these guys since they became pros. Hamels came up, fastball, changeup guy. Cain was pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher too. They've both added pitches as they've gotten older, which has made them better.
Well, if you don't add to your repertoire when you get to the big leagues, you stagnate, and hitters are not going to have to make that many adjustments to you if they know that. Like for me, they only had to look for fastball, slider. Well, when you got 4 different pitches you can throw, that makes it that much tougher on hitters, and there's more adjustments that have to be made. The more adjustments you force a hitter to make, the more he starts thinking. The more you can get the guy's mind involved in it, the worse off he is.
Well, both these guys have pitched well today, and as you would expect, or maybe not expect, both have hit well today. See the comparisons between Cain and Hamels. Neither one has really struck out a whole lot. They've pitched to contact. Hamels has scattered 7 hits. Cain has allowed just 3. And Hamels bunts foul, trying to sacrifice Fontenot up to second.
You know, I'm not sure if I wouldn't hit and run with Cole. He takes a good swing. He's hitting over 260. You could put that runner in motion and feel fairly confident that Cole could get the ball or the bat on the ball.
He squares again, takes.
Cain is staying hard with him, and they're using the second baseman to cover. He's going with a change up here. This would be a perfect time for him to hit and run.
Takes on the outside corner, 1-2. That changeup just got the black. Now would you take it off?
No, now in this situation you have to bunt him. He's got to get the runner into scoring position.
There's Juan Samuel, the third base coach, laying down the signs. Fontenot leads off first. Swing it away, takes outside. It's 2-2, and this is why you might think that why Charlie Manuel let him swing away.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that swing right there. That's just a good swing.
And a smile as he takes some congratulations from his teammates. A little silent treatment.
He's going to get a breaking ball here.
Grounds one toward first. Belt has 1, has 2. It's a 3-6-3 double play, helping Matt Cain through the 5th. 5 in the books at Philadelphia, just a 2-run lead for the San Francisco Giants. Presidential. Bring your challenges. And by Share Everything. It's the plan that revolves around you. Only from Verizon. That's Philadelphia owns Matt Mailer, who's distributing some flowers throughout the crowd. He just put a skit together with the Philly Fanatic out on the field. Matt was dressed up as an umpire. The Fanatic was trying to get the umpire to dance, waited, and then finally it looked like Matt was trying to get the Fanatic to dance.
You know, sometimes it's better to look lazy than bad, Tom.
Well, they could put some acts together, those two guys. Angel Pagano lead it off here in the top of the 6th against Cole Hamels. Pagano's 1 for 2. Doubled his last time up. And swinging a foul on the first pitch. It's 0-1.
You know, when the Giants made these moves in the offseason, Tom, when they got Melky Cabrera and they got Angel Pagano, I was like, okay, that's two guys that, in my mind, other than what Melky did last year in Kansas City, they're just kind of parts of a team. Nothing that's going to stand out and grab you. These guys have driven in 100 or scored 102 runs between them and driven in 82. So they've been productive for this club.
Well, and they've kind of patched that outfield together with Gregor Blanco and Nate Shearholtz. Aubrey Huff's been on the disabled list. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I guess they proved in 2010 that, you know, they can win without every position having a star.
No, they don't. You don't have to. You just have to mesh. You have to be able to play well together. And right now in this situation, Cole just threw a high fastball. Come back with that changeup. He challenged him again with a fastball. That's as hard as his fastball's been today at 93 miles an hour. But now he's got him looking hard. He's changed his eye level and gotten him to look up. Now go at him with that changeup. Just make sure it's down.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Hamels trying to keep the leadoff batter off base here in the 6th. And a call, strike 3. Got on the inside part of the plate. 1 away here in the 6th. A little bit of an argument between Angel Pagano and Mike Evett. And so long, Angel Pagano. Kind of a short fuse there.
Well, a short fuse. He obviously said the word you can't say, and that's you.
Bruce Bochy's going to pick up the discussion.
And there's no argument here. This ball crossed the plate a strike without question.
Just surprised him with that curveball. Locked him.
It did. Cole's thrown 2 curveballs today. So there's no way that Angel Pagano is sitting on a breaking ball right there. And for those of you at home, you can say, that stunk. That was horrible. The word you cannot use is you. You cannot say you stink or you were horrible. That's a word that gets you thrown out.
Mike Evett, you saw him say, that's it, and he's gone. 1 away. Here's Joaquin Arias, who waves at a changeup. It's 0-1. Arias 1 for 2 in today's ballgame. He's shown some really good speed. He's playing shortstop today. That's been an interesting position for the Giants. Trying to have somebody play short who can provide a spark defensively, but also offensively.
You know, he reminds me of his body type is like Bernard Gilkey.
A young Bernard Gilkey?
Yeah. I mean, kind of built the same way. Kind of gangly.
He's ahead 2-1 with Brandon Belt on deck. Out in front again of a changeup. That's a good pitch.
And see, that's the thing. You see swings like that, that tells you the hitter is swinging at arm speed. Because there's no difference in Cole's arm speed between his fastball and his changeup.
Down the right field line and out of play. So Arias stays alive. That changeup that Cole throws, he learned in high school. His high school coach told him, just throw it. Don't worry about where it goes, because they had a potential #1 pick as a catcher when Hamels was a sophomore in Scott Hurd, who was selected #1 by the Texas Rangers in 2000. He blocked everything. To right field. Not that deep. Playable for Hunter Pence. 2 outs. Ken Rosenthal, the Giants are in first place despite an offense that is okay.
Right, you guys mentioned earlier the additions of Pagan and Cabrera. Well, that offense is still short, and the injuries to Aubrey Huff and Hector Sanchez aren't helping. When Sanchez is healthy, the Giants can move Buster Posey to first, place Sanchez at catcher. One thing this team could use is a right-handed hitting outfielder. And when I asked one of the Giants coaches to describe the type of guy that they could use, he mentioned a familiar name, Cody Ross. Unfortunately, Ross is playing great for Boston, not available.
Yeah, Cody Ross has been healthy this year for Boston. That's been a huge key. And obviously, he's hitting the ball very well. He's had a great start to the second half.
Yeah.
And he was a big part of the 2010 World Championship for the Giants.
And see, I would put Cody Ross in that same kind of fit that Melky Cabrera and Angel Pagan are. They're kind of just complementary players. But when they get hot, they get hot. They're very streaky, and they can carry a club.
Well, 1-2-3, 6th inning for Cole Hamels. It's his first of the afternoon. We move on to the bottom of the 6th. The top of the order is due up for the Phillies.
Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend as today Tim McCarver took his place in Cooperstown as this year's recipient of the Ford C. Frick Award.
Baseball. I've been thrilled about it and wearied by it, but more than anything else, I've lived it and always loved it.
Induction weekend continues tomorrow as Barry Larkin becomes just the 24th shortstop to call himself a Hall of Famer. Let's get you back out to Tom and Mitch in Philly.
Great ceremony up in Cooperstown where Tim was honored. Bob Elliott from the Toronto Sun received the J.G. Taylor Spink Award. He's a longtime columnist for the Toronto Sun. So congratulations to both of those guys. And I know Barry and Ron Santos' family are all looking forward to tomorrow's induction into the Hall of Fame. Gregor Blanco takes over in center for Angel Pagan.
And you look now, Matt Cain has put himself behind these hitters on a number of occasions today, and the Phillies have not made him pay for it. This is where they've got the top of the order up. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. If they're going to do something, it better be now.
There's a changeup for a strike. It's 2-1. Well, usually when the Phillies do well offensively, these top two guys, Rollins and Victorino, are the guys that jumpstart things.
Well, I can't remember the number exactly, but I know it's unbelievable the one-loss percentage when Jimmy Rollins scores a run for the Phillies.
Well, this year they're 24-19. Last year they were 48-14. Overall, they're 585 and 260.
Yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Well, there he goes. He's aboard to start the 6th. Earlier we talked to Dave Urgetti about Matt Cain. We asked him what he thought about Cain so far.
Well, he started out the game, he's throwing strikes, and his delivery's sound, and he's making pitches, and, it's a nice start for him. Chase obviously took advantage of a ball and knocked the heck out of it, but, he looks smooth out there, and we'll go through some things here, I imagine, in the next hour and a half.
Rags, it's Mitch, and I watch this pitching staff that you work with on a daily basis. How much fun is it to work with these guys that have this much talent?
Well, when they have talent and they work hard, and they're willing to, pay the price, so to speak, and make adjustments, then it's fun to coach them. But otherwise, you're just picking up a towel, So I enjoy being around the guys.
Rags, we appreciate it. Have a good day, all right?
All right, good luck, fellas.
Thanks, bud.
Mitch.
Dave Urgeti, who threw a no-hitter as a pitcher against the Red Sox on July 4th and has been able to coach a couple different guys who have thrown no-hitters / perfect games, Matt Cain being one of them. He also gets a chance to look at that guy, Madison Bumgarner, who's a very talented young left-hander.
Well, a lot of people don't know. Rags, threw a no-hitter, was a closer for a long time.
Yeah, he did what John Smoltz did before John Smoltz did it.
Yeah. Before Dennis Eckersley. Maybe at the same
right
time.
around the time as Dennis Eckersley.
Eckersley was doing it.
Shane Victorino just picked up his 1,000th career hit with that bloop single to right center field. He becomes the first Hawaiian-born Major League Baseball player to reach 1,000 hits in his career. So congratulations to Victorino, who has done so much great work here in Philadelphia with the Boys and Girls Club. We talked about that earlier.
Well, he gets jammed, gets just enough of this ball to get it in to the outfield. And in the paper tomorrow, it will look like it was a bullet.
It's the second hit of the series, and it's the first time today the Phillies have had multiple runners on base. Here's Chase Utley, who's been hit by a pitch and is homered. And out in front of a changeup. A little surprise from Cain. It's 0-1. By the way, we said Victorino's the first Hawaiian-born ball player to reach 1,000 hits. The guy that was the closest to 1,000 before Shane was Mike Lum. Remember Mike Lum?
No.
877 hits in 15 years in the majors.
Wow.
Pretty good player in the 70s and 80s.
Well, I don't go back to the 70s, Tom. I appreciate you trying to hang 10 more years on me.
Fly ball to shallow left. And Melky Cabrera will make the catch. Here is today's Jeep home run game summary. That's what it's been about. Matt Cain is homered. Chase Utley is homered. Cole Hamels is homered. Of course, Buster Posey not only has a home run, but he also has an RBI single.
I look at this last play right here, Tom. Arias, the shortstop, goes out. This would be an infield fly. With Melky coming in and calling him off, I wonder if the umpire called it an infield fly or not, because Melky could actually let that ball drop, thrown to third, thrown back to second, and had a double play out of that.
Yeah, there was no signal. Ryan Howard's the batter with runners on first and second. Howard takes a strike at the knees. Howard's 0 for 2. He's flied out to center. He's popped out to third. Two for 18 lifetime against Cain, but the two are home runs.
And he's just got to look for a pitch down.
Well, he got a pitch down, but it was a little something soft.
Yeah, and I looked at the way Cain approaches Ryan Howard. If it's soft, it's going to be out of the strike zone. If it's hard, it's going to be up. Now Ryan's got to protect and let the pitch travel, because he's not going to get a cookie in this situation.
That's where Posey wanted it. He was up a little bit as the pitch was being delivered.
And see, I hate that. I never wanted my catcher to raise up. Trust me, I can throw a fastball up my way without you standing up. And I know a hitter can feel a catcher stand up.
In the air to right center field. Way back there. That one is gone! A 3-run home run for Ryan Howard. It's now a 5-4 Philly lead.
As we look at this pitch sequence, this is the difference. You see fastball away down, breaking ball, then Posey standing up, going up and away, and that right there, folks, is the difference between 6 inches. If that ball's 6 inches higher, Ryan Howard swings under it. But he didn't get the ball up high enough, and now it's a souvenir.
Well, he knew it. That's number 289 for Ryan Howard in his career. It's the first one this year that wasn't a solo shot. It's only his third. But the Phillies felt when Charlie Manuel was asked 2 weeks ago what kind of an impact Ryan Howard could have on a game. He said all you got to do is watch, and that's the kind of impact he can have on a game. Here's Carlos Ruiz. He's 1 for 2. And Carlos takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Well, and the fact that Jimmy and Rollins and Shane Victorino both got on to start that inning, that's what has to happen in order for this Phillies organization to turn this season around. It's got to start where it all starts, at the top of the order. If they can get those guys on, the damage doers, Chase, now Chooch, and you got Ryan, Hunter Pence. I mean, they got some guys that can do some damage.
Swing and a miss by Ruiz. 2 outs here in the 6th. Fox Saturday Baseball returns next week when the Red Sox head to the Bronx to take on the American League East leading Yankees in a showdown between bitter division rivals, where the Dodgers and these NL West leading Giants renew their rivalry in San Francisco. Fox Saturday Baseball telecast presented by Budweiser returns next week at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. I think it's always exciting when the Giants and the Dodgers are in the mix, going down to the wire in the National League West. It's always been that way. At least it seems that way for an eternity. 0-1 the count to Hunter Pence. He's 1 for 2, or he's 0 for 2. Tries to hold up on a breaking pitch, and he does.
Well, he swung at that pitch, first pitch.
Fastball for a strike. Ken Rosenthal, that was a pretty good swing by Ryan Howard. He does make a difference in this Phillies lineup.
No question, Tom. That's his 3rd home run in his last 3 starts. And he told me he's slowly working his way back into it. Playing 2 straight days now. He'll work up to 3 and then 4. One thing, though, he said he's not going to get 30-30 this year. 30 homers, 30 stolen bases.
He may not get 30 and then the other 30 for a couple of years the way it's going. But, he had a point in his career where he was starting to steal some bases. But as he has come to realize, what he just did is more important than any kind of stolen base.
Well, his only real chance is if the lights go out. He's one of my favorite players. And Matt Cain landed funny on that called strike 3.
Yeah, he did. It's a called strike 3. Hunter Pence goes down looking. Ryan Howard has brought the Phillies fans to their feet. A 3-run home run to give them a lead. We'll return to Philadelphia after a word from your local Fox station. By Budweiser. We begin the top of the 7th. Both starters are still in there. In fact, they're both facing each other here. Cole Hamels has the lead. Matt Cain leads it off. He's 1 for 2 with a home run. Homered in his first at bat.
And that tells you what Bochy thinks of him. He's behind in the 7th inning, and he's leading off in the top of the 7th rather than pinch hitting for him.
Low, 2 balls and 1 strike. These two guys were part of the heralded first round class of 2002. Matt Cain and Cole Hamels. Mentioned that earlier. As Cain pops it up, it'll be back into the seats and out of play. It's 2-2. Hamels had broken his arm, so folks were surprised that he dropped to the 17th pick overall by the Phillies in 2002. Cain was selected 25th by the San Francisco Giants.
Well, obviously a good job of scouting by both organizations.
Swing and a miss. 1 away. Now it's time for our Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Here you go, Mitch. What do you think?
Or Just for Men Auto Stop. I love that stuff. Look at that. I mean, runs. We said it was going to be evenly matched. It's pretty evenly matched so far.
Well, just as the Giants can count on Hamels and Cain, Giants and Phils can count on Hamels and Cain, you can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Carlos Ruiz back toward the screen. 2 quick outs here in the top of the 7th. And by the way, we mentioned that 2002 class. How about some of the other names that were in there with Cain and Hamels? B.J. Upton was the 2nd overall pick. Zach Greinke was 6th by the Royals, the Cy Young Award winner. Prince Fielder, folks are probably wondering how he fell to 7th. There's Joey Votto, who was 44th in that year's draft.
Brian McCann, Curtis Granderson. You're talking about a lot of talent in that draft.
In that first round, Nick Swisher, he went 16th to the A's. James Loney of the Dodgers went 19th. 27 first rounders from that year have made it to the major leagues, and I think it's one of the more impactful first rounds that we saw in the early 2000s.
And you know, you look at that, and Votto being at 44th.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that there's sometimes you just never know. Votto could be maybe one of the top 5 hitters in all of baseball.
I would agree
easily
with you on that. 5 strikeouts for Hamels. He's hunting for some more with Terrio at the plate. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Terrio is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Well, Chooch and Hamels are having a hard time getting on the same page. Carlos put down 3, 2, 1 changeup. Unless Cole invented a pitch in between innings, he ain't got any other ones.
Well, you never know.
Unless he's shaking off location.
Well, that could mean fastball or changeup, because you know he can throw the changeup in different spots. Hamels 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in 6 2/3 so far.
Elevate up.
The 0-2 is away, and it's fouled away by Terrio, who was a little off balance. That was a cutter.
Yeah, a cutter away. And that, for me, that's a dangerous pitch, especially in an 0-2 count, because you got a guy up there that's trying to protect. In a 3-2 count, I like it because you can get a hitter to give up on it.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Strikeout number 6 for Cole Hamels. A 10-pitch shutdown inning for Cole. He's retired 7 in a row. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. Sponsored by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at your local Jaguar retailer. And by the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. Independence Hall here in Philadelphia. It is a great walking city. Two of the better cities in the country facing off at a baseball game right now between the Phils and the Giants. Two of the better ballparks in Major League Baseball. AT&T Park is loud and electric, and it's the same here at Citizens Bank Park as Juan Pierre leads it off in the bottom of the 7th.
I judge a ballpark by the food.
How's the food at these two places?
Great. Unbelievable at both places.
A looper down the left field line. Cabrera makes the diving grab, and he made the catch. That was an unbelievable recovery by Melky Cabrera.
He's not jumping up real quick from it either. You got to get a great jump in order to catch this baseball right here.
You also have to have a perfect landing so you don't hurt your wrist.
Yeah, and this is where it's dangerous. You see how he came just an inch from that glove hanging. You watch as he dives, watch the tip of his glove get on the ground, and he pulled it up just enough, or he would have ended up injuring his wrist on that play.
All the dirt popping up. It's helping this grass grow. Well, he hit over 300 last year, but he's been a marvel this year for the San Francisco Giants. Here's Mike Fontenot, a little swing and bunt to the left of the plate. Posey, 2 outs. Let's check in with Ken Rosenthal. What are these Phillies going to do, Ken Rosenthal, in the next couple weeks?
Good question, Tom. They're 13 games back in the NL East, 11 and a half back in the wild card. Obviously, they are in a position to sell, even if they sign Cole Hamels. But Ruben Amaro has said, hey, we want to contend every year. So, what do you think will happen? Well, start off with the potential free agents. Shane Victorino, Juan Pierre, Joe Blanton, guys like that, they could be traded regardless. The trickier questions, Hunter Pence, guy who could make $14 million in arbitration next season, and Cliff Lee, who has almost $88 million remaining on his contract, 21-team no-trade clause, but if the Phillies want to save some money, that could be where they start.
Well, Ken, I know Tim Lincecum was looking at your bow tie today as Hamels lines one to center. That's going to be the final out. We'll get back to the bow tie. I know you're wearing it in honor of Ron Santo. We'll discuss that in just a little bit. A 6-pitch inning will take us to the top of the 8th for Melky Cabrera. To the break at the bottom of the 7th, we were talking to Ken Rosenthal about his tie and about his interaction with Tim Lincecum. What was that all about, Ken?
Tom, Tim was asking me how it was going with the bow tie. He wore them during the 2010 World Series and has since stopped. But this one actually is special. It's for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and it is in honor of the late Ron Santo, who was a diabetic, and of course, who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame tomorrow.
Yeah, great man. I know each of us have interacted with Ron, or we interacted with Ron during the course of his broadcasting career. And I'll tell you, he was a character, and he deserved it. That's a character too, but Ron Santo deserves the chance to get into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I agree totally. I had the pleasure of being in a Cub for 2 years and being around him. Just a really, really pleasant guy.
He teamed with Pat Hughes, who is still the radio voice of the Chicago Cubs, and you won't meet a nicer person than Pat Hughes, who's now teamed with Keith Moreland. Fly ball, deep left field, hooking toward the corner, and that is another home run, and Melky Cabrera has tied the ball game up at 5. He said this pitcher's duel has turned into a home run derby.
I just look at this. I question sometimes why pitches are thrown or what the thought process is behind them. Melky Cabrera is not going to hit an opposite field home run. When I look at that, I'm going to stay away. Where is he going to do the least amount of damage? And we look at this pitch, they're trying to go in, and if you don't get it in there, this is what happens.
Well, 9 of the 10 runs scored today have been from the home run. You heard the crack of the bat. John Mayberry going back, and that youngster made a heck of a catch. And Cole Hamels just looking for a new baseball. So all leave it at 5 here in the top of the 8th. And the count is 1-0. Cabrera very pleased with himself, a signal to some of his fans.
He ought to be pleased. He's having a heck of a year. There's no question about that. But both of these pitchers are going to get done with today and go in and say, I did not get away with any mistakes. Every pitcher is going to make mistakes, and a lot of times you can get away with them. I just question the thought process behind going in that situation. You got 2 strikes on him.
Make him beat you the other way.
Well, Bastardo and Kyle Kendrick are warming in the bullpen for the Phillies. Here at the top of the 8th in a 5-5 game. Buster Posey has the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Takes inside, 2-1.
I'm a big believer in you have got to move guys' feet, and he just got that accomplished. He moved Posey's feet. Now they're going back outside.
He may have missed his spot with that one there too. That cutter.
Yeah, it was up more than he wanted. Now if he can throw his changeup right here, outer 3rd and down, he's got it.
A liner to the alleyway in right center field. That's going to go to the wall. Buster Posey's on his way to second. Victorino gets to it quickly. So with nobody out, Posey is now a triple away from the cycle. Now the go-ahead run is in scoring position for San Francisco. This is a pretty good swing right here.
Well, he's got an inside-out swing, and that's just a tremendous job of hitting. You see his head, see how still his head is right there? That's just really good hitting.
Well, now if you're Hamels, you're trying to manage your way through this inning. It's 5-5. Try to keep it tied. If you're Sandoval, you're not necessarily trying to get Posey over. You're just trying to get him in if you can. Sandoval's 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice. Chopper foul.
And Sandoval is definitely a guy, he's hunting one thing. He's hunting a fastball. But his job in this at bat is to make sure that Posey's standing on 3rd when he's done hitting. He's actually a better right-handed hitter than he is left-handed hitter average-wise. Obviously, he's got more at-bats left-handed.
He's one of those guys that will generally swing at anything, but he's become a little more disciplined over the last year or so. Missed a lot of games this year with a broken hamate bone. Still was the starter for the National League in this year's All-Star game at third, and provided a pretty good pop in that first inning against Justin Verlander, in his first at bat against Justin Verlander.
Well, that's the only fault I have, or the only argument I have with the All-Star voting. I agree that the fans ought to have their say, but if there's other third basemen that are having bigger years, they ought to be All-Stars. And then what does Sandoval do but deliver the only triple he's hit all year long in his first at bat?
Just saw the Panda Bear dangle hats that you see all over AT&T Park. 1-2 the count to Sandoval. Foul ball back to over the screen. Remains 1-2. Hamels at 112 pitches. Saw last night Charlie Manuel, when Vance Worley was kind of teetering a little bit, decided not to go to his pen and decided to stay with Worley. That's more of an indictment about the bullpen.
Yes.
The ERA, as you see, is the second highest in the MLB.
And that's the problem right there. These starters have had to take on, if your bullpen is bad, the starters have to stay out there longer than they should. In my opinion, Cole got through 7 innings with the lead. If this had been last year, 8th inning would have been Stutz, Bastardo, 9th inning would have been Madsen. He had a way to draw it up. When your bullpen is struggling, as a manager, you don't know what to do.
Well, he's at 114 pitches. His season high is 119. Gregor Blanco is on deck for the Giants. It's 3-2 to Pablo Sandoval. Ground ball to shortstop. Rollins, his only play is to first. Good base running by Posey. The ball was to his left, so he took off to third. So 6-3 on the putout with one away. Here comes Blanco.
Well, and right there, Panda did exactly what he was supposed to do. He got himself in a 2-strike hole. So what does he do? He becomes defensive. I'm going to put the ball in play and advance that run.
All right, now if you're the Phillies, they're stalling it for the moment. Do you play the infield in with a runner at third here in the 8th inning, tied at 5?
Absolutely. You have to.
I think that's what they're discussing right now out on the mound.
Well, you have to guard against a squeeze, too. A squeeze, a safety squeeze, has become almost in vogue nowadays because if it's done correctly, there really is no way to defend it.
Do you worry about Posey's speed over at third?
No. I don't care how fast or slow you are. If the bunt is gotten down,
it's up to you to read it.
Yeah, I mean, you can score.
Now the Phillies will play the infield in. Blanco is a speedy runner out of the box. Overall, he's hitting .246, 5 home runs, 25 runs batted in. He came on when Angel Pagan was ejected after arguing balls and strikes in the 6th. First pitch low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
And what Cole's looking for here, he wants a punch out.
See his numbers with runners in scoring position. He probably made the catch of the year earlier this season in Matt Cain's perfect game. Swing and a miss and a changeup. That's a good pitch on the inner half.
And that's I promise you, Hamels has not faced Blanco that much. And if you have not faced a guy and you haven't seen that changeup come out of his hand and seen the arm motion, that's not something you're going to like as a hitter.
Squeeze, and somebody missed a sign. Ruiz will chase Posey back. He flips to Polanco. 2 outs here in the 8th. I would assume it's Gregor Blanco that missed the sign.
I'm going to guess so.
Since Tim Flannery gave the verbal sign to Buster Posey.
And that is something that Gregor Blanco cannot do. If you're going to be a role player, you cannot miss a suicide squeeze sign. Normally, there's a return that he's got to give it, whether it's touch your helmet, okay, I've got the sign. There has to be some kind of return to let Tim Flannery know, okay, the hitter does have the sign.
2-1 the count now to Blanco on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Buster Posey, his reaction was priceless as he was halfway down the third base line. He threw his head back. He was like, oh, no.
Yeah, that's a bad feeling.
...120 pitches now for Hamels. That's a season high.
Well, this is going to be his last inning. And he just elevated his fastball. I'm betting everything I got up in this booth here with me, this would be a changeup.
Luis sets up inside.
There was a changeup.
Yeah, right past Roberto Kelly in the first base coach's box.
And Cole has that curveball, but what he uses that for is to throw for strikes rather than to use it to put guys away.
Boy, Blanco's really battling here.
Well, these are the kind of the little gnat, what I call gnat kind of hitters that can't see them. Those bugs that bother you on the beach that you can't see. That's what a Gregor Blanco is. He's just one of those guys. It's hard to punch him out because he's not swinging to trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Just swinging for contact.
Yeah.
This is the 8th pitch of the at-bat from Hamels. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. A pie, 3-2.
And that's the hardest fastball Hamels has thrown today at 94.
Little adrenaline rush.
Yeah, he's got a little anger.
The 7-hole hitter is up next. That's Joaquin Arias. And ball 4. So Blanco works out the walk. The inning is still alive for the Giants. Miguel Cabrera, Brandon Phillips, David Price, and Justin Verlander among the more than 60 MLB stars to visit the MLB Fan Cave already this season. The Fan Cave has also hosted over 24 concerts and celebrity guests, including Charlie Sheen, Adam Lambert, The Fray. Watch MLB Fan Cave player videos and stay up to date on the latest cave happenings by visiting MLBFanCave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. Arias takes a strike. It's 0-1.
See, there's that curveball. Cole does not use that curveball as a put-away pitch. It's a get-me-over first pitch strike pitch, and that's how he ought to use it because it's not a biter. It's just it's kind of a roller, and no hitter wants to hit a breaking ball first pitch.
His curveball when he was in high school before he learned the changeup was one of his best pitches.
Well, it's just such a. I know I could never throw it. I didn't have the mindset to throw it because I only knew how to go hard, and that's why it's so hard to learn that circle change.
But as you've mentioned, it's all about the arm action, and his arm action is the best in baseball. Swing and a miss, charged him up. With a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, it's 0-2.
And he's already proven, Arias has already proven he cannot hit his changeup. So now, Cole can do whatever he wants with him.
He's ahead 0-2. And a throw over to first. If you're wondering about Hamels' pitch count, we said it's a season high 126. He has an off day on Thursday, so that off day generally means a manager can push a starter if he's effective a little longer.
Yeah. Well, and Charlie wants to get through this 8th inning and hopefully get the lead and get Papelbon in the 9th. That is a non-violent pickoff move right there.
A little mushroom over there.
Well, and that kind of tells me Cole's wanting to throw a changeup because he's trying to hold Blanco close at first base. I say elevate your fastball in the middle of plate up.
Foul ball. He goes back with a fastball. His velocity is still good.
He did go with the fastball, just not up enough. Now, changeup. Get him to swing at that arm speed.
Humpback line drive just over the outstretched glove of Rollins. Over to third is Blanco, and the Giants have first and third with 2 outs here in the 8th.
Jimmy got caught. He jumped in between. I think Jimmy jumped a little soon right there.
Well, Charlie Manuel is heading out to the mound. Cole Hamels has reached a career high in pitches thrown with 128. There are 2 outs here in the 8th. The go-ahead run is over at third. Charlie Manuel, the slow walk out to the mound. We're going to have a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. Cole Hamels gets a standing ovation as he heads to the dugout. He waved to the crowd. Some of the folks here at Citizens Bank Park came to the ball game today thinking, all right, if he's traded at the trade deadline, this could be our last opportunity to see him pitch here at Citizens Bank Park. They also were acknowledging what was a pretty gutty performance. He and Kane have both battled the long ball today. The batter is Brandon Belt with runners on first and third.
Well, there's no question neither one of them has had their best day.
So we're going to send you out to Philadelphia. Giants and Phillies are locked up in a good one, top of the 8th. Both starters have homered. So's Ryan Howard. Runners at the corners. We send you to Tom McCarthy and Mitch Williams in Philadelphia.
Count is 1-1 to Brandon Belt. We want to welcome those who are joining us from the Detroit White Sox game. Detroit wins it 7-1. Here we've had 6 home runs. The pitcher's duel between Matt Cain and Cole Hamels has turned out to be a battle of guys trying to stop the long ball. Antonio Bastardo just picked up for Hamels with runners on first and third and 2 outs here at the top of the 8th. The pitch from Bastardo. Got him to pop up. Out on the front foot. Rollins is in. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Tied up at 5. Melky Cabrera's home run tied it up against Cole Hamels. We'll be back after this from Philadelphia. Is sponsored by T-Mobile. Test drive our nationwide 4G network. And by Ford. Go further. This afternoon is the 250th consecutive sellout here at Citizens Bank Park. They came here thinking pitcher's duel. They've got some of the pitcher's duel, but they've also gotten some of the long ball. 6 home runs today as we start the bottom of the 8th. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off against Matt Cain. Cain has been somewhat economical through 7. That was just his 89th pitch of the afternoon.
And that's why Bochy's allowed to leave him out there. He's been extremely economical, and it's paid off. I mean, he went from being down 5-4 and leading off as a hitter in the 7th inning to now he's back on the mound in a tie game.
A little paint on the outside corner from Cain. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And they're back at the top of the order, and this is where Jimmy has got to find a way to get on base again.
Well, he walked his last time up. And he breaks his bat, loops one toward right center. Terrio is out there, and he makes a nice catch.
That's the second such play that Terrio has made. One to his right, one to his left. This one taking him back to his left, and this over the shoulder. There's a lot of concentration that goes into that. As I said, it's not only concentration, it's a fear of having an outfielder running wide open at you coming in from the outfield that at the last second could call you off. And then the next thing you know, you got cleat marks up your chest and he's run over you.
Well, we mentioned how shortstop has been, kind of an interesting spot for the Giants. Second base has 2 as Victorino hits one right at Terrio for the second out. Freddie Sanchez, who the Giants had hoped would be a mainstay at second base the last couple of years, has been battling injuries. Now he's out with a back injury. So that's why Terrio is getting a lot of playing time. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 8th, and that's one of the differences between these 2 teams, their records in 1-run ball games.
Yeah, and you look at that. The most shocking stat to me when I look at the Philadelphia Phillies, they're 11 games under 500
here
at home, right? And I'm like, that's just hard to imagine.
Well, they've never been this far under 500 at this ballpark. It opened in 04, and they've never been the 11 games under. It's just, we said AT&T Park is a great atmosphere. This is a great atmosphere. I mean, you could put the 2 ballparks that these 2 teams play in the top 5 for so many reasons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, aesthetics, as I said, the food.
Food is important.
But the fans. They're both rabid fan bases. And if you want to play, I mean, I've been in ballparks going to the old Marlins Stadium and doing a game down there. I mean, you could throw rocks and not hit anybody in that stadium. Nobody went. That's hard to come to as a player and generate your own adrenaline when you have no one cheering you on. There is no excuse for not having adrenaline in a place like Philadelphia or San Francisco.
1-2 the count. Cain still not at 100 pitches. Ashburn Alley here in Philadelphia, named for the late Richie Ashburn. It's kind of like a boardwalk down the New Jersey shore.
And Cain's going with a changeup.
And Posey hung on. 8 in a row retired by Matt Cain. That's a 9-pitch inning as we go to the 9th, tied up here in Philadelphia. would be preparing for the bottom of the ninth inning because he's under 100 pitches. Unfortunately for him, his day is done. 97 pitches. He goes 8 innings, allows 5 earned runs on 5 hits. And the Giants, because we're in a 5-5 game, will have to pinch hit for him because we begin the bottom of the ninth with the number, or top of the ninth with the number 9 hitter against Jonathan Papelbon, who's been very good this year in save situations for the Phillies. This is not a save situation, but at home, you generally use the closer in the top of the ninth inning when there's a tie ball game.
Yeah, you just want to get it to the bottom of the ninth and hope you can win it in the bottom half of the ninth inning. But the problem is, people think that as a closer, it has to do with adrenaline. If you come in a non-save situation, you don't have adrenaline. That's not it. The difference is there's as much pressure on you as the pitcher in this situation as there is on the hitter. When you're coming in a save situation, the pressure's on the hitter because you have the lead as a pitcher. They swing at pitches they wouldn't normally swing at. In these situations, they're a little more patient. They're going to work counts. And that's why you get closers with elevated ERAs in non-save situations.
That's why it's surprising that Brandon Crawford swung at the first pitch from Jonathan Papelbon here in the ninth.
Yeah, he's trying to jump a first pitch fast.
Sure. Well, now with 1 away, back to the top of the order for Nate Shearholtz, who's 1 for 4 this afternoon. It's a 5-5 game, game 2 of a 3-game series between the Phillies and the Giants. If you're a Giants fan, you know the Dodgers have already won today over the Mets. If you're a Phillies fan, you're just trying to win a ball game and then come back tomorrow to try to win a series. Papelbon has been the guy that Charlie Manuel's counted on the most. The rest of the bullpen, you can see a 5.11 earned run average. They're young.
Yeah, they are young. They've got some good arms.
2 outs on Polanco's play. Here are tonight's Burger King smooth plays of the game. Mitch, where's Mark Scott when you need him?
I don't know, but if you were a fan today, you had a really good opportunity to get a souvenir.
Six different home runs. Both starting pitchers homered. Ryan Howard hit a 3-run shot, and then Melky Cabrera tied it up. Mark Scott was the original host of the Home Run Derby, the old Home Run Derby. He would have loved this afternoon's game. Ryan Terrio's the batter. He's 0 for 3 on the outside corner.
And this right here is where Jonathan Papelbon has really got to bear down. He's got the first 2 outs. He cannot take his foot off the gas right now. He's got to get this 3rd out. Ryan Howard's leading off the ninth. He can end it with 1 swing.
Ground ball foul, and it's 0-2. Papelbon's last appearance, he had a 3-1 lead against the Dodgers on Wednesday afternoon when the Phillies were trying to close out a sweep. He gave up 2, and then the Dodgers went on to win it.
And trust me, there's nothing that will demoralize a team faster when you're struggling than losing games late. Games that should be won have to be won.
Ground ball to shortstop. Rollins to his right a few steps. It's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Papelbon, just 6 pitches. Ryan Howard with 4 walk-off home runs will start things off for the Phillies when we come back in the bottom of the ninth inning here at Citizens Bank Park. baseball presented by Budweiser. 5-5 as we move to the bottom of the ninth inning. Both teams are now into their bullpen officially because the Giants are bringing lefty Javier Lopez out of the pen to pick up for Matt Cain. 6 home runs have been hit already this afternoon. Matt Cain started for the Giants. Cole Hamels started for the Phillies. And now it's left up to the two teams' bullpens. Javier Lopez in 42 games this year. Well, he's been good for the Giants. In fact, he's been good ever since they brought him over from the Boston Red Sox. Here's Howard. 4 walk-off home runs, and he's taking all the way, and he takes a strike.
Well, the difference in Ryan's stance now compared to years past, he's closed up. His front foot's already on the ground. He's had problems with Lopez in the past, but now that he doesn't have to worry about closing, all he's got to do is worry about throwing his hands. He's going to get a whole lot better look at this guy.
He's 1 for 4 lifetime against Lopez. If he gets on, do they pinch run for him?
I would imagine.
Hit a 3-run home run earlier in the ball game. Chops it foul. It's 1-2.
And now he's going to get a steady diet of breaking balls.
Giants have 2 very difficult left-handers in my eyes, and Jeremy Affeldt and Javier Lopez coming out of their bullpen.
Well, Lopez is a crossfire. He throws across his body. And see, that's the big difference in Ryan starting so far open in the pass and closing that front foot. When his front foot was closing, his head's moving, and you're not able to recognize spin on a slider. Now, with him already being closed and his front foot down, he can recognize that stuff.
Fouls that one off his foot. I think it's so hard to change when you're successful.
Yeah.
And he's been able to tinker a little bit, just as Carlos Ruiz, the on-deck hitter for the Phillies, has been able to tinker a little bit with his stance.
Well, if you ain't changing, you ain't growing. If you ain't growing, you're dying. Because other pitchers are going to make adjustments to you. You have to adjust with them.
Staying alive. He fouls another one off. Howard homered last night against Tim Lincecum. He homered today against Matt Cain. Now he's just trying to get on with the overshift on. 3 infielders on the right side. And he hits it toward that shift. Terrio backs up. 1 away.
That's a good at bat right there by Ryan. If there's not an overshift right there, that's a bullet base hit to right field.
Carlos Ruiz stopped as he was going to the plate. And here's the shift that Mitch was talking about.
I mean, that right there, that's a base hit. But the overshift, it does. It probably takes between 10 and 15 base hits away from him a year.
Easily. Well, he's retired. Lopez is done after facing 1 batter. We've got a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. The right-hander coming in for the Giants when we get back. League out of the bullpen. It's right under Sergio Romo. Second lowest earned run average in the National League out of the pen at 0.66. You wonder who the heck is better than him. Well, Brad Lincoln of the Pirates has a 0.57 ERA. Romo has a very good changeup, and he'll face Carlos Ruiz, who waves at a breaking pitch. This guy's been good for a couple of years. That was a slider from Romo.
Well, there's different ways that, I mean, you say guys come in and attack hitters. You can come in and attack hitters with a fastball or a breaking ball. Romo's best pitch is his breaking ball. So he's coming in attacking him.
They wanted to peel on that check swing by Ruiz, but Manny Gonzalez says he didn't go.
I didn't even think it was close.
See the comparisons for Ruiz through the 20th of July from last year to this year. It's just staggeringly different.
Well, he's at 51 RBIs, and he needs 4 to surpass his all-time high in the season at 54.
He needs 4 doubles to surpass the high in doubles with 29. He's going to have, he already has more home runs than any other time.
He's just, yeah, he blew by that a while ago. His career high in homers was 9, I believe, was it not?
Yep. 2-1 the count to Ruiz. 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth at a 5-5 game. Got a slider again. This one on the inner half. Am I right or wrong as a hitter? If you're going to get a slider, that's kind of the one you want to hit.
That was the frisbee you want, the one that just kind of spins. But the thing about this Giants team that makes them so good, their starters are good starters. Their bullpen is outstanding.
Even without Brian Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, when he comes back healthy, Santiago Casilla has done a tremendous job for him. But their setup guys are good. Their situation guys are good. It's just a solid bullpen, where the Phillies bullpen has been a lot of things, but solid ain't one of them.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Broke his bat, slowly hit left side. And there are 2 outs here in the ninth. They'll keep Romo in to face Hunter Pence. Here's the top of that bat. You want to talk about sawed off. He split that one right above the handle.
And that's a ball off the end of the bat.
So Howard and Ruiz are retired. Pence is hitless this afternoon. Grounded into a double play. Grounded into a fielder's choice. And then struck out looking. He has a walk-off home run this year for the Phillies. It was back on the 15th of May.
Oh. Well, if he was looking to walk one off, that was the one to do it. I think the Phillies need to get it on their mind. They're going to get sliders.
Because that's all he's thrown.
Yeah. If it's at me, I'm gashing. If it starts away from me, I'm leaving it alone.
In the air to center field. Sounded like he may have broken his bat too.
Yeah.
Blanco comes in. It's a 1-2-3 ninth inning for the Giants bullpen. We go to the 10th, extra innings. Melky Cabrera, Buster Posey, both a homer today. They're due up when we get back. Not that Papelbon is going to stay in the ball game. Why not? He didn't use a lot of pitches in the top of the ninth inning, so he's on to face Melky Cabrera, Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval. All right, you were a closer. He didn't throw a lot of pitches. He threw 6. Is this a big deal?
No. I think it's getting to the point in this game where, oh, he's thrown 2 days in a row. We can't use him. Look, you're a closer. If a safe situation presents itself, you're supposed to be available. I don't care if it's 5 days in a row. That's what you signed on for. That's what you do. And if you can't prepare your body to do that, then you ain't a closer.
See Melky Cabrera's numbers against Papelbon. He lays off. That pitch just missed. Looked like back-to-back splitters from Papelbon. Fastball is his best pitch. The splitter is his next best pitch. He does have a breaking pitch too.
Well, you know, Papelbon has faced Melky before, as you see their records in extra inning games, and it does not favor Philadelphia. That's 3 straight splits. Obviously, Melky has jumped Papelbon's fastball in the past.
Goes back to the whole remembering thing.
Yeah.
3-0 the count with Posey on deck. And ball 4, so he walked him on 4 pitches. And that brings Buster Posey to the plate. Posey's had himself a good day. He's 3 for 4. He's a triple away from the cycle in today's ball game.
It would not surprise me at all to see Bochy put Melky in motion here and hit and run.
Got the right guy in both spots.
Right. Posey's swing is an inside-out swing. Look at the size of the hole between first and second, Utley and Howard.
Well, he doesn't do it there, and that's now 5 in a row out of the strike zone for Papelbon. Well, he was crisp in the 9th inning, and he hasn't been able to find the strike zone here in the 10th.
And it's all about concentration. And like I said, it's a different mindset for the hitters, for the pitcher, because you're on equal ground. It's a tie game.
Little Bronx cheer here in Philadelphia for the strike from Papelbon.
I've heard that before here.
More than once?
Every outing.
1 ball and 1 strike. Posey 3 runs batted in today. He has 56 RBIs on the year. Quick throw over. In Wednesday's ball game, during the 9th inning when Papelbon was trying to close it out against the Dodgers, Bobby Abreu stole second base on him, and that kind of changed the complexion of the inning. He turned out to be the tying run. But you can steal on Papelbon because he's pretty deliberate to the plate.
And I believe in throwing from a full leg kick and getting everything you can on the ball rather than throwing from a slide step. I don't believe in the slide step. I think it puts undue stress on your arm. It takes your good stuff off the baseball. You can hold runners by holding the ball. Nothing tenses a runner up any more than holding the ball and making him stand there.
Looper to right field. That's going to drop for a hit. Cabrera's on his way to third. He read it beautifully. Pence's throw to third is not in time. First and third with nobody out here in the top of the 10th inning for the Giants. Well, that's good base running. Knowing where the outfielders are and knowing what kind of ball was hit.
Well, you look at him. He didn't even, not for a second. He knew that ball was going to drop, and he was going to third from the minute he left first.
Pretty good throw by Hunter Pence. Tim Flannery, the third base coach, said, "Get down."
That's just called baseball savvy.
Don't forget, a couple innings ago, the Giants missed a sign on a potential squeeze. This is not the same kind of situation. The Phillies will play the infield in with runners on first and third and nobody out. Pablo Sandoval is up. He's hitless in 4 at-bats.
Well, what they have to hope for here, the Phillies have got to hope for something hit to either Utley or Rollins.
Ooh.
Woo! How'd that ball missing?
Awful lot of movement in that bat. Surprised the fan doesn't yell out, check the swing.
No, he didn't offer it.
Looked like he helicoptered that bat when it left his
right
hands.
Now, Panda just did a clawed range and got invisible. That ball went through him.
He's going to be a little jumpy at the plate now.
Yeah.
1-0 the count to Sandoval. Swing and a miss. 93 on that fastball from Papelbon. Sometimes how you separate the good hitters in the game. What do they do in tense situations? Normally the 7th inning on is a tense situation, or can be. And it's Sandoval 306, which is just a tick or two ahead of what his average is overall.
The great hitters, the game slows down.
Little number foul.
The great pitchers, everything slows down. For the guys that don't do well from the 7th inning on, it's because they can't in their mind slow the game down.
Is that something you can learn, or is that something that you're basically born with?
No, I think it's something that's in you. I think from the time you're little, you either, like in this situation, if I'm Chase Utley or Jimmy Rollins, I want that ball hit to me. And I've played with guys that don't want that ball hit to them right now. And if I'm Panda, I want to be at the plate in this situation.
With the infield in.
Yeah.
And runners on first and third. Swing and a miss. He was late on a high fastball. 1 out. 94 miles an hour.
And that right there, watch the added movement, the hop on this ball right at the end. Oof. That ball started down the middle. That's why he went after it. It started in the middle, but then finished. Papelbon's always had a fastball that finished, and what I mean by finish, it has that little hop on the back end of it. Now they can play the infield at double play depth. And Blanco, again, still would not surprise me to see them squeeze with him.
Right, they've probably gone over the signs again.
Yeah, they probably drug him in the tunnel and said, listen, dope, when we give you a squeeze sign, don't miss it again.
Yeah, earlier he missed a suicide squeeze opportunity with Posey over at third. That was back in the 8th inning. And Posey was rung up. Posey's in a more comfortable spot right now over at first.
Well, that, and they've got a much better base runner at third base right now in Melky Cabrera. They get safety squeeze here.
Yeah, the Phillies will keep the infield in probably because of Blanco's speed, thinking they can't double him up. Could be also because of the squeeze potential. He's 0 for 3 lifetime against Papelbon.
Now this I love Charlie Manuel, but I'm playing Jimmy Rollins and Chase at halfway. If the ball's hit hard enough,
let them make a decision.
Let them make the decision on where to go. They can double off Blanco. He's fast, but he's not close to the fastest guy in the game.
Time is called at the plate. Blanco is the second hardest to double up in the National League. Who do you think's first?
In the National League?
Yeah. He's having a heck of a year. How about Michael Bourne?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Michael Bourne would be tough to double up.
Step to third, a look over to first. Now that's a play that you can't do. You won't be able to do next year. That would be a balk next year.
I was just going to say, you all take a good look at that, because next year you won't be seeing it anymore.
Now when you yell balk from the stands when somebody does that, you'd be right.
Yep. And there's going to be some pitchers next year that forget it and do it.
1 ball, no strikes, the count to Blanco. Up for the second time. Came on after Pagan was ejected. And he shows bunt. That would have been more of a safety squeeze.
Yep.
And it's 2-0.
With the way Melky reads balls, they can afford the safety squeeze. because there's no way if Blanco gets a bunt down, Melky will score.
If it's in the right spot.
It doesn't even have to be in the right spot. If it's on the ground, Cabrera will score.
Just a bit outside, 3-0. Papelbon gives a little extra look in to Mike Everett. Fans, well, they'll do what fans do. It was close.
The outfield is playing shallow. All of them out there throw pretty good right now because now Mayberry Jr. is in the left. I cannot believe he turned him loose on a 3-0 count.
Unless he missed a sign again. Probably figured that Papelbon's going to try to get one in.
If I'm Bochy, I'm sitting there looking at it and going, he's intentionally walking Blanco to get to Arias.
Here comes the 3-1 pitch from Papelbon. Shows bunt, bunts it toward first. Safety squeeze. Howard thought about home. Now he has no play. And it's a 6-5 Giants lead. That was a beautiful bunt. And read beautifully, as you said, by Melky Cabrera.
I'm telling you, that ball is bunted so hard that even if Ryan Howard fields it cleanly, there's no way they can get Cabrera. All he had to do was get the ball on the ground. Watch how hard this ball's bunted. 2 hops to Ryan Howard, and Cabrera's already in.
Well, everybody did their job for the Giants on that particular play. And Papelbon's reaction. So Cabrera scores the go-ahead run. It's his 3rd run of the day. He's scored 64 runs this year. And here's Joaquin Arias with runners on first and second. Broke his bat down the left field line. Foul ball. A lot of times the hitter will tell you because he'll stop because he has the best view of it. And he kept on running.
I could see that from up here.
Boy,
that ball had
pretty well.
Yeah, that ball had a little more distance than I thought it did.
So a new bat for Arias. Papelbon in his 2nd inning of relief after throwing just 6 pitches in the 9th. He allowed the leadoff walk to Cabrera, who came around and scored the go-ahead run. Give Buster Posey some credit, too, for his single to right. His first 4-hit day since the postseason last year against the Phillies. It's 12 hits now for the Giants.
These are the games that have just absolutely killed the Phillies this year. Losing games late.
Yeah, and conversely have helped the Giants. Inside, 1-1. Did that hit him? It may have hit him right in the hand. And the bases are now loaded. You heard the little tick, but I didn't know if it hit him or not. He didn't really react. And here comes Charlie Manuel. Looked like he was going to come up the stairs. Instead, he stops and talks to his pitching coach, Rich Doobie. Well, this has not been a very productive inning for Jonathan Papelbon. He's got a left-hander to deal with in Brandon Belt. Listen up to this.
That
did
never
tick something.
No, that never touched nothing. I'm sorry. I'm crying nay on that one.
The Arias kind of looked back but didn't really react to it.
Yeah.
Well, the bases are loaded for Belt. Phillies will set up for 2. Thinking a ground ball, they could turn it with Belt at the plate. And he lays off and takes a fastball for a strike.
Now Papelbon's looking for, this is where that split's got to come in.
Get him to roll over on
Yeah,
one?
he's got to get a ball hit on the ground in the middle. A split or a punch out.
There's that split. Floated a little too far outside. Justin Christian is on deck for the Giants. Take a blown up look at this. Did it get him?
That never touched.
Didn't
nothing.
look like it hit him.
He was that ball's in the middle of the plate. Even if it did hit him, he shouldn't get the bag.
Outside and high, 2-1.
Well, now it's getting to the point where Charlie Manuel's going to have to go get him, or he's going to lose him for tomorrow.
He could lose it for Monday too,
because of the pitch count.
You saw the bases loaded. Posey, Blanco, and Arias around from third to first. Well, he's just tailing that fastball off the outer edge, and it's 3-1.
And this is what can happen here in Philly. They've been over the last 5 years the best team in the National League, or in the Eastern Division over the last 5 years, and the fans have kind of gotten spoiled, and they're not dealing well with losing again.
Swing and a miss. 3-2. That's why what Ken said before about the trade deadline coming upon us, that Ruben Amaro Jr. is going to try to retool, if anything, with this trade deadline.
Well, I think they need another big right-handed bat.
Well, right now they could use a ground ball. It's 3-2 with one out, with the bases loaded. Fly ball, shallow left field. Mayberry over toward the line. Posey is tagging. Mayberry's behind it. Posey draws the throw. 2 outs. They're not going to run Posey into any kind of contact.
No.
And 2 away, and Justin Christian is going to come up to pinch hit for the Giants. Santiago Casillas warming up in the bullpen for the Giants. He's the closer. Christian, a 179 hitter. And facing Papelbon for the first time. There's Casilla. 31 pitches right now for Papelbon. Well, now everybody will play back all the way around. Get as much room as possible to try to get the out. Just a tad outside and high. 1-0. Mike Everett is not extending the strike zone at all here in the 10th inning.
Papelbon's kind of getting under the ball a little bit.
Christian was leading the Pacific Coast League in hits with 91 when he was brought up. That's a strike. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. He's hitless in his last 13 ABs. He had some great numbers down in the Pacific Coast League when he got brought up.
That tells you the difference between AAA ball and big league ball. In AAA, you're not going to see a whole lot of 2-0, 3-1 changeups and curveballs. And you get up here, pitchers are not afraid to throw those off-speed pitches.
Yeah, he's late on that fastball by a pretty good margin. It's 1-2. Yeah, he's going to get a fastball here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you don't want to speed his bat up and throw him anything off speed. Right there, he's overmatched. If anything, I just go a notch higher.
Papelbon about to throw his 35th pitch. This is his 2nd inning of relief.
Christian is not going to take anything close.
The 1-2 pitch. Up high.
And you can see Jonathan kind of running off and leaving that fastball. That's what I mean about getting under the ball. When you do that, it becomes a muscle move rather than just letting your arm speed work.
Got him. Tied him up inside, and Papelbon gets through this 10th inning. He does allow the go-ahead run, so on to the bottom of the 10th. Santiago Casillas coming in to try to close it out for the Giants. Year for the San Francisco Giants. He's third in the league in saves with 23, but it's been a little rocky lately. Those are his overall numbers. Not too shabby, 3 and 4 with a 3.34 earned run average, but he has 6 blown saves. 5 of those blown saves have come in his last 8 opportunities.
And that, to me, is a mental thing. When you start blowing saves in consecutive days, it tells me that you're not letting go of the day before.
Well, he throws a slider to John Mayberry to start this at-bat off, and it's 1-0. It's a 1-run lead for the Giants here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Eleven consecutive Phillies hitters have been retired by Giants pitching. Now that began with Kane with the last 2 outs in the 6th, and it continued through the 9th with Lopez and Sergio Romo.
And both of the Romo and Casilla, they're going to throw them breaking balls. They're slider guys. Casilla's got a little better fastball. He'll use that. But that little get me over breaking ball that he just threw Mayberry in the 0-1 count, it was right in the middle.
In the air to left field. It was off the end of the bat. Cabrera calls everybody off. He's under it and 1 away here in the bottom of the 10th inning.
And you can see down in the Giants bullpen, Bochy's taking no chances. He's got Jeremy Affeldt up. As we look at the Giants in extra innings this year and the Phillies in extra innings this year, it ain't good for Philadelphia.
Well, a lot of times that decides whether you're at the top of the standings or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Here's Placido Polanco. Ty Wigginton's come out in the on-deck circle for the Phillies.
And you know, he gets clear up there.
I was going to say, you almost be able to see him in that center field shot we had. Look at him.
Yeah, and it's illegal. What he does is illegal. You're not supposed to be allowed up there. There's an on-deck circle for a reason, because they don't want a hitter getting a look at the pitcher before he gets up there from that angle.
Want to know the count to Polanco. He whacks it foul at the plate, right off his ankle. Mentioned the Dodgers have already won today. Dodgers are directly behind the Giants of the National League West. The two have kind of reversed their record since the 1st of June. That's why the Giants are in first place. 2-1.
Well, Polanco has one job. He needs to become a base runner any way he can. They're going with a fastball outside here.
Up and in. There's Wigginton on deck in the top of the order. But as Mitch said, Polanco is trying to get on for the Phils. He's a key to this inning right now with one out here at the bottom of the 10th.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him take another strike.
And he does. It's a ball inside.
And both of those last two fastballs were supposed to be fastballs away, and he missed badly up and in with both of them. That tells me he's had command issues. And if Wigginton wasn't right-handed, Jeremy Affeldt will be in this game right now.
Well, those are the numbers we just showed you. As Dave Righetti goes out during his last 9 ball games, his earned run average is not pretty. And they have others in the bullpen that at times Bruce Bochy could go to, but he's been pretty loyal to Santiago Casilla. There's Jeremy Affeldt. As Mitch said, if there was a lefty, he'd go to him. Ty Wigginton has never hit a walk-off home run in his career.
Oh, if you're a Phillies fan, now would be a good time to do that.
Wigginton, who played a lot in the first part of the year when Ryan Howard was out with his injury, played a little third base, played a lot of first base. His number's 239 with 9 home runs.
This may sound stupid, but if I'm Wigginton, I'm sitting breaking ball first pitch.
Well, that's what he got.
He got a slider right there because he cannot command his fastball. The only thing he's shown any command with has been his breaking ball.
Might have been what Dave Righetti said to him. You try that up there and get yourself straightened out again.
And now they're going fastball again away. And he got it there that time.
Almost looked as if he was quick pitched. And it's 0-2.
Well, when you're struggling, don't slow down. Go harder, go faster. Never worked for me.
Ever?
Ever.
Swing and a miss at a slider. Well, that's a good job by Casilla. He throws the slider first, then slides the fastball by Wigginton, and then comes back with a slider in the dirt.
A nasty slider in the dirt. This one, you can't lay off this pitch. As a hitter, that ball's in the strike zone and then disappears. But now if I'm Jimmy Rollins, again, I'm sitting on a first pitch, get me over slider.
But do you let it go?
No. I'm coming out of my shoes if I'm Jimmy. If it's hanging there, I'm coming out of my shoes.
Gets a fastball. No slider. Go back
another
to slider.
Yep.
He doesn't think it's a strike.
It wasn't a strike. The ball's away. So Rollins did the right thing in taking that pitch because there isn't anything he can do but pull off it. Now he's going with a curveball.
In the dirt. If you're wondering about any additional speed for Polanco over first, who does not run well, the Phillies are kind of out of anybody that can come off the bench and then play third if this game moves on to the 11th. Rollins lines it right at Ryan Theriot, and the ball game is over. Santiago Casilla comes back and is able to save it for the San Francisco Giants. Your final score, the Giants 6, the Phillies 5 in 10 innings. The producer of today's game is Jeff Gowen, and the director is Jim Lynch. The associate director is Eric Villagemeyer, and the associate producer is Andy Kavanaugh. Our technical producer is Sid Drexler, and the technical director is Simon Benazra. The pregame show is produced by Rich Chin-Chimino and directed by Lucas Altman. And the coordinating producers are Mike Santini and Don Bowie. Now for Mitch Williams and Ken Rosenthal, I'm Tom McCarthy. We'll send it back to the MLB Network studios for post-game coverage with Matt Vasgersian.